All right. Sweet, we are recording. Awesome. All right, so for anybody watching or following live or after the fact, this is an exposition game of DayTrippers by Tod Foley. Todd, if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, correct me, please.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, sweet. Todd's going to GM the game, and the rest of us are going to try to survive. I think that sums it up nicely.
That pretty much sums it up. Yeah.
Excellent. Do your worst or best, my friend.
Okay, well, the setting that we sort of brainstormed a little bit and that the characters were created for was a one-shot adventure, and DayTrippers is sort of geared to produce these one-shot adventures with a narrative arc to them. So what we decided in Google Plus was that we're going to do a sort of a survival game show. It's 100 years in the future. It's the year 2115. The players are a team competing with other teams in a grand tournament. The show is called Hyper Survive! With an exclamation point, which I really like because it sounds so stupid. So Hyper Survive is a show where every episode a team of DayTrippers is dropped off in an extremely deadly place, having signed, the necessary insurance and legal exemption waivers, and pitted against the nastiest stuff that has been discovered out there. If they manage to make it from their drop-off point to base camp, they get their own pilot for their own TV series, as well as big cash prizes and all sorts of other offers that come from being famous. So that's what's going on. You guys know very little in advance about the environment you're going to be dropped off into, but you have been set up to know that playing as a team, working this way, you're in the semifinals right now. Right, you're against another team that's actually representing the Malbicho team. These guys are seasoned pros with all have military backgrounds. So this is going to be a fierce competition in a fierce land. Hello and welcome to this episode of Hyper Survive. The host, Duncan Helios, is a guy with a big black plastic DA of hair, and he's very, very excited and animated all of the time. He wears a long golden gown, and he waves this rod while he points at things. He's standing on a hover platform above a purple planet. I don't know if I can I share screens with you guys?
Yeah.
There's a way to do that, right?
It's the green, looks like a monitor.
Okay, so he is hovering against a background. Do you see this?
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's a dense purple forest. And that's actually all you guys can do. Your first roll right now. Give me a brains roll, which means roll as many dice as your brains and take the highest one. Tell me what you got.
5.
I got a 6.
All right.
6 here.
Cool. All of you recognize this place immediately. This is a place that you've read about. It's recently discovered. The planet is called Zood, also known as the Purple Planet. It's a small world, not even the size of the Earth's moon. It's got very low gravity and a wide variety of strange and hostile life forms. It is rumored to be home to a race of galactic hominids who are not very far evolved. They're the Zoodians.
Poor Colin is going to meet his demise, I'm afraid.
All right. Now I'm trying to figure out how to stop screen share.
Just press the screen share button again. It should resume.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, so hello and welcome to this episode of Hyper Survive. I'm your host, Duncan Helios. Tonight we'll be visiting the planet Zood. But do you guys have a team name? Have you thought about that?
Well, I wanted to call us the Johns, but no one else agreed.
The Johns?
Oh, Lloyd. All right, I think we're the Johns.
All right, we're done with the Johns.
All right, okay, cool. Tonight, we'll be meeting the Johns, a team of day trippers new to the final rounds, and they'll be traveling to the planet Zud to see if they can hyper-survive. Remember, this episode of Hyper-Survive is brought to you by Body Nanny, the nanotech solution that loves toxin. And now let's meet our contestants. First up is Colin Streeter. Colin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a geologist and an archaeologist by trade. I enjoy the finer things in life, like surviving in the outdoors, which appears to be the order of the day for Planet Zood. So I think I'm well suited for this. And as a budding archaeologist, I am keen on becoming famous. So this show is for me.
He thinks he has what it takes to get a show here on the Mega Media Network. Next up, we've got Gareth. Gareth, have I pronounced your name correctly?
Indeed you have, Duncan. And howdy, everyone. I'm an enterprising...
Remember, he's on this big hovering platform with, like, flashing lights behind him. He hovers down to the ground level to shove the microphone in your face.
Yes, I'm an enterprising young pilot looking for new and interesting opportunities.
New and interesting opportunities you'll find here. Opportunities for life, death. See if you can hyper-survive. And last up, Mr. Jonathan St. John, the third, I believe.
Jonathan St. John III, Duncan, but it's perfectly fine. You can call me JJ. It's nice to meet you, audience of the world. I am Jonathan St. John. I am a big game hunter, and I believe I've come here to show you just how other creatures can be my prey.
Quite a challenge. This is a ballsy group. The Johns are out to the planet Zoo to see if they can hyper-survive. And now let's go. Through the magic of television, there's some sort of video effect. Now, you guys, behind the scenes, you may use your own ship if you want, because Gareth has a slip ship. But I had also been totally prepared for the producers to foot the bill for all of this, so I'm just going to leave it up to you. You want to use your own ship, just in case you feel like skedaddling out of here?
I think there's probably good reason to use Sune.
Okay. Sune, thank you for the pronunciation. Accent on the E. When you materialize, you find yourself in a region very much like the one that you just saw Duncan Helios standing in front of. Now, materializing around you are the large equipment vehicles, big like hovercraft-looking things, and out of one of them comes Duncan in his on his hovering platform. There's also a whole bunch of little round drones with cameras in them that sort of come out, one of you each. Right, so each one of you has a drone sort of following you around. It's just a few inches in diameter, little gold round thing, and it's constantly watching what you're doing. If you speak out loud, the drone's mic will pick it up, and Duncan advises you before the cameras hit you that we want this to be, you know, as exciting as possible. So whenever possible, we want you to voice your internal thoughts so the cameras can pick them up. Are you guys ready?
Born that way.
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, and the three little cameras cut to quick shots of your guys' faces as your names are displayed on the screens below you. And over the top, Duncan Helios is welcoming the audience to this episode of Hyper Survive. Here we are on the planet Zood. We're about to set these gentlemen free to see if they can hyper survive. Gentlemen, you've been given compasses. Well, actually, Gareth, you've already got a compass built into your survival suit. But the other two men, interestingly and importantly, do not have automated survival suits. That means that, Gareth, you're going to have to move at the rate of normal walking speed. Although with your hyper-customized suit, you should find it pretty easy dealing with a lot of other issues on the planet Zoo. It's really neat that you chose the suit +1, because it means you're going to be a +2 on a lot of maneuvers. You've got gyros in the joints of the suit that are going to allow you to climb and jump farther than the average human. You've got jump jets with strength augmentation and an armor bonus, which is now going to be a +2 instead of a +1. You other gentlemen, no armor bonus, and it's going to be tough for you. But at least this planet is a place where the gravity is light. It's like 0.7 g. So you can jump farther and run farther. You could probably cover 30 miles in a day, which is good because you're going to have to go 100 miles to the base camp. Hyper survive. Now he's gesturing to the north, and he's showing you you're going to have to go either through this massive body of forest that you see here, or just around the side of the forest you see sort of a broken purple badlands. It's like, here, let me share one with you. It's a lava land, actually, but the lava is kind of purplish. Everything on this planet has a purple tinge to it. Come on. Because you've seen the jungle, I want you guys to make a choice. And here we go. Got that? You guys see it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sort of directly due north, the way that you want to go is that dense purple forest that you saw before. The trees are like, 400 to 1,000 feet tall. The canopy of the forest almost completely obliterates the sort of purplish glow of the star above. It's almost completely pitch black in there, and then there's a way that looks like it'll be a little bit longer route, but if you chose to avoid the jungle, you could go through the lava lands, which are just going to take you a little bit like east by northeast and around the jungle. That's going to be the first choice you gentlemen have to make, and the little hover cams come in and zoom in on your faces as you discuss what your tactics are going to be here. Jungle or lava land?
Well, as a big game hunter, I'm always the one first to go for open spaces so I can see my prey coming. So naturally, I suggested to the group that we should go for the lava lands.
How you guys feel?
That makes sense to me.
I got mixed feelings about it, but I think I'll be more at home there than I would in the jungle. So yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I'm not surprised that Colin has mixed feelings. He has mixed feelings about all of my ideas, but I take it in stride. He's just a young kid trying to learn.
Do you guys banter about this a lot? Do you have like little disagreements, or do you find that you generally agree as a team?
Well, we generally do have a few disagreements, but usually we come to consensus maybe within like a minute, maybe 2 minutes. We didn't get to the semifinals by simply doing nothing but bickering all the time. The longest we've bickered has been for about maybe like half an hour when we couldn't decide whether or not to climb a rock or go around it. But we've learned to work well as a team as it is, and as such, we keep our bickering down to about a minute or two, decide what we all of us agree over a vote, as there's 3 of us, the best course of action, and move forward from there.
That's nice. That's good.
And I think
All
it's
right,
usually Gareth who breaks the ties between John and Colin, so.
Which would make sense.
It's a heavy duty, but somebody's got to do it.
Right.
Well, Garrett's always got the ship. He can go like, I'm going to take the ship and go home.
Take my toys and go.
You guys are going this way, or we're turning the ship around.
Don't make me come back there.
I have to bring my ass with me.
Yeah, don't make me turn around and smack you. Okay, so you've got this broad region of burnt, just starting to regrow. It looks like sometime within the last couple decades there was this massive lava flow that came through here, tore up the landscape, burned everything, killed everything. It's just starting to regrow. Little patches of purple plants, very, very thick-leaved purple plants, mostly barren rocky patches. These rough gray, purple, igneous rocks look sometimes like long fingers, like the fingers of a dead skeleton hand, stretching out on the landscape. In some places, it's still quite warm underneath the ground. You can feel it. Those of you who aren't wearing survival suits can definitely feel it. The ground is still very, very hot in some places, and you have to be careful where you walk. Sort of difficult to navigate with great speed.
Well, I have a survival pro kit. Does that include things to use to help figure out which way isn't hot? I mean, this is a survival pro kit, right?
Yeah, and actually we can go further than that. I think Gareth's suit will tell him like where he's about to step. Basically, if he wants to turn on its thermal sensors, he's got a full range scan available in his suit. So it kind of makes sense. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it kind of makes sense to put Gareth in the point position because he's got the scanners built into his suit.
Sounds fair to me.
I
Gareth,
like
how
it.
you feel? How you feel about being point man?
It seems to me like Gareth is probably the natural person for getting people where we're going to go. Colin's probably the one who figures out how to keep us moving, I suppose, and not dying. And it never hurts to have someone with a giant gun. Really, in any situation.
Like, there's none that it doesn't help it.
True that. Okay, so it's Gareth who's moving out in front, and with the combination of jump jets and servo mechanisms, you're able to sort of bound ahead pretty easily ahead of the other guys. And therefore, you're the one who comes down in a place where the ground is not hot, but also not stable. It starts to give way beneath you, and I'm going to need you to make a grace roll, trying to beat 3. It's a grace roll versus GL3, so however many dice your grace is, it's 80. Roll them all, Chesla. You're trying to beat 3 with one of them.
That would seem to be a success.
Nice.
Did you beat by more than one?
It looks like I got 2 6s and a 3, so I
You got a
beat by
6.
all of them.
Okay. Which means that you actually get to narrate how awesome you look when you when you almost die here but don't. The camera zoom in is a great shot, right? It's a great shot because as you come down, the ground starts to totally give way beneath your feet, and you sink about down to your waist. But utilizing the jump jets, you just sort of barely touch the sides with your fingers and blast up simultaneously. You do like a flip in midair and land on a patch of solid ground, and the camera catches everything. That's going to be like in the instant replay section.
I'll come up and do a V for victory.
Yeah, you get 1 experience point. You utilize that suit so well to get out of that situation. 1 experience point for you.
Shiny.
Now, the other guys, having seen this happen, you're now aware that there are places in the ground where the ground can actually just sort of give way beneath you with no warning at all. Any ideas how to proceed here? We're just going to keep on letting Gareth point the way.
We're going to proceed carefully.
Dangerous. Sorry, were you saying something, Colin?
I was saying we should proceed carefully.
Proceeding carefully might not just be enough to cut it. Do we have anything we can use to prod the ground as we're moving forward?
Well, you've got a big gun, but I think you want something longer.
Yeah.
If you headed into the forest a little bit, you could find some branches you could use.
We're not that far off, right?
You're not that far off. You've just started.
Yeah, perfect. We'll go back. Let's go back, cut one of those up, take in front of us. We'll use as a prod to move forward.
I could probably run and grab one.
I mean, that's how I would do it. What do you think, Colin?
I think that's probably pretty smart. Use it kind of as the proverbial 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 2v1, so let's do it.
All right. So we're heading into the forest here. Immense purplish trees, up to 1,000 feet tall, completely dark, leaves and branches woven together to form sort of a canopy over the top that blocks out all the light. The leaves are thick and bloated. They look more like cactus leaves than tree leaves. The leaves in the trees are all sort of rubbery and ringed and scored, tremendously old. There are occasionally little packs of lava that have meandered into this area, and you can see where it's just barely starting to grow again. It's steamy, it's dark, it's more jungle than forest, and it's foggy. The fog obscures your vision. It's very difficult to see. Lots of small, many-legged creatures are like watching you from the trees, and they sort of hide if you move toward them. Little trails of slime crisscross the path, like big snails have crawled through here.
Cool. Well, we're not hoping staying here too long. We just need to find something that we can use as a forward walker, like a small stick Or a big stick, for the case.
There are some of the trees which do have rather long branches. You find that they're sort of rubbery. There's no real hardwood here. Everything's so wet and porous. It's all sort of rubbery. And it's difficult to cut, but you do manage to get one. You've got a long rubbery pole about 8 or 10 feet long.
All right, will this do? I say to Garish.
It's a big long pole. You ought to be able to whack something with it.
Yeah, true. Right, do us the honors.
Walking along with the galaxy's biggest phallic symbol, waving it ahead. Which reminds me, it's time for a commercial break, and you see that the hover platform comes on down, and here's Duncan Helios as they're making their way through the lava lamps with their ingenious contraption of the 10-foot rubber pole. That remind you that tonight's episode is brought to you by Body Nanny, the nanotech solution that loves toxins. Body Nanny is the nanotech solution inside your own body that allows you to eat like a pig, live like a fool with Body Nanny. And now, back to our game in progress. The 10-foot pole is working. You've managed to find one more area that was unsafe to walk on. When the ground gives way, you see that a couple hundred feet below, there's a lot of steam and lava. So there's both hot water and lava down there. And where they hit each other, you get these sort of like geysers of steam. You can expect to see, oh, there's one right now, just a little bit in the distance.
Wow.
A geyser spouts up through the lava, and the steam shoots up 60 feet in the air.
Yeah, remind me not to get caught by that thing.
I'll keep that in mind.
You guys have been walking through the lava lands for about 30 minutes now. The cameras they've actually got music playing. You've got this weird sort of like tense industrial rock soundtrack going on, and you're all hearing it. As Helios is describing facts about the planet, you see in the distance a group of creatures. It's like a herd of these furry, hided animals. They've got 6 legs. They look like warthogs. They've got jagged horns coming off the front of their heads and rumpled, oversized fur coats. They're the size of like a large pig, and there are maybe 50 or 60 of them in a big herd. They're eating some of the new purple growth. A couple of them raise their head, look in your direction, but they don't seem very impressed by you. And you notice that there's one, like a young one, a small one, or maybe a sick one, that's kind of far away from the rest of the herd.
And up your alley, John.
The way that you guys are going, you're going to have to get closer to them before you can get further from them.
I mean, if we're heading there that way anyway.
But let me caution you, John. The last time you decided to shoot some game on the way, you drew some unwanted attention to us, and we're up against another tough team. So this being the semifinals, I don't know that we want to give away our position.
I understand where you're coming from, Colin. However, if they're going to make it this easy for me, I don't really see why I shouldn't take the opportunity. After all, we will not know more about the flora and fauna over here if we want to be able to take a step forward. But I suppose we have to leave it to Gareth to make the decision. What do you think?
I think I'm not carrying any more carcasses back to the ship this time.
See, look, 2 versus 1. Let's keep moving.
Fine, we'll keep moving. But the minute one of them looks at me funny, I am letting the shot off.
Fair enough. Begrudgingly.
I slink off to the side and I start talking to the camera going, every time a game has come up, I've always never been given a chance to shoot. It's only been under dire circumstances. However, I'm hoping
that the camera is right in front of your face catching all this.
What was that?
This is like one of those closet testimonials right in the middle of the reality show where the camera zooms in on your face and catches you doing this monologue to the camera.
That's exactly what I'm doing. That's what I was going for.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so I have the quick monologue quickly with them, and I go back and join the party again.
That's good television.
Gareth's talking to his camera going, I don't think he really realizes how many giant predatory reptiles there are on these planets. They just keep coming out every time he shoots something.
It's interesting you
Messes
should say
all our
that.
plants up.
Because at that moment, just as you're finishing that sentence, there is a squealing sound from the direction of the herd, and the cameras whirl around, and what you see is that one small one that had been separated from the herd has just been jumped on by what looks like sort of like a centipede. It's about 5 feet long. It's got 10 legs. So it's not really a centipede, but it's got 10 legs, 5 legs on each side. And it has just attacked the furry beast, which has let out a squeal. The response is that the herd turns and begins stampeding toward the place where the attack is going on. This is going to bring them not really closer to you, but let's say like 3 o'clock from your current position. Now, strangely enough, the 10-legged lizard doesn't show any signs of fear. It's tearing the carcass of the small creature into chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's too late to save it.
It is too late for you guys to save it, and there is a herd coming this way. I just want to know what you're going to do.
See, John,
Save
you
it
should
for
have taken
lunch
a
break.
shot when I told you to take the shot.
Are you serious? Oh! I say, fine, can we just clear out of the way of the stampede coming towards us and not get any attention of this weird centipede creature that I'm not allowed to shoot either?
Those of you with survival skills, go ahead and make a, let me see, this is going to be a brains roll plus survival skill roll.
I have a survival pro kit. Does that help?
I don't think we need the kit for anything right now. I'm just trying to gauge your ability to find a really good place to hide or lay low.
Fair enough.
Does it matter that I put survival under health and not under brains? Does that make a difference?
I'm going to say brains anyway, because I'm kind of using this as like a perception roll.
Right.
Oh, fair enough. Can I make a brains roll then, basically?
Yeah. I'd say brains roll plus add your survival skill.
I got a lot of 6s plus a
If
1.
you have one.
Oh, I'm glad. I got a 2 and a 1.
All right. Jonathan, you're completely exposed. The other guys have found safe places to hide. But Jonathan, in your haste, you've actually managed to step on a place where the ground is giving way. So you are very highly visible as you shout out and begin scrambling up the street, trying to evade being, falling into a hole of lava 200 feet below you. I'm going to need a grace roll from you. Beat a D3.
I got 2 3s and a 2.
You just hit it. This is going to be a yes, but. Okay, so you do scramble up out of the hole.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going to end well for you.
I certainly don't want to take your gun. Your survival kit falls into the hole, and if you ever drop your survival kit into a pit of hot lava, let it go, brother.
Don't go back for it.
I thought you learned your lesson last time.
Apparently not.
I sigh as it falls off my back, and I think, oh, well, great, there goes that.
You're lucky you're alive, though. The herd stampedes around the centipede creature, but before it is trampled, it burrows into a soft spot in the earth itself and just scrambles away with a big chunk of fur hide in its mandibles. So it's using the weakness of the ground as sort of a tactical advantage. It'll pop up out of the ground and pop back under with its food. So now the herd doesn't know what to do. The hole is beginning to open, and some of these big furry creatures are beginning to fall into it. It looks like that hole is going to expand out to Jonathan's hole if you guys don't get the fuck out of here fast. Wow! I said the first fuck of the show.
And the second.
Nice work. Quick question. If the hole's expanding, does that mean the centipede creature will be going underneath me?
It's going to be going somewhere underground. Yeah, it's probably crawling upside down underneath the surface. Which direction it's going is your guess is as good as mine. But saying the word fuck reminds me, says Duncan Helios, that this episode is brought to you by Body Nanny, the nanotech solution that fucking loves toxins. Eat like a fucking pig and survive. And now back to our game in progress.
Well, I believe it's time for us to vamoose, gentlemen.
Would seem that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to want grace rolls out of everybody.
Okay.
Garath, you get a +2 because of the suit.
I got a 6.
Nice.
I got a 4 as my highest.
That's still good. Tesla?
Well, somehow with the +2, I can still roll a 2. But I've got a 3, a 4, and a 2, it looks like.
How did you roll fate dice as well?
How does it do what?
So is that a 4 adjusted, or is it a 6 once it's adjusted?
Well, I would think it's adjusted, but
No,
if
it's
it's
not.
adjusted, I would. Yeah.
The plus is for fate dice.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So we don't need the fate dice. So that's actually a 6, which means that all you guys managed to make it up over the top of the hill before the 2 holes collapse into one big, huge, giant hole. And when it hits the lava, there's a big explosion of steam that shoots up into the atmosphere. It's massive, but you guys managed to get out of the way. You're now on top of a sort of a higher ridge. You've like made it up to the sort of the background in the picture that I'm showing you here. So you can now look over your. You've still got maybe a couple hours of lava land to go, and then it's going to be jungle because you need to start veering sort of westward again to head toward base camp. So for another couple hours, it's going to be this lava land. In some places, now that you're looking down on it, you can see big fissures in the rock with steam just coming up out of them. And occasionally, the ground trembles beneath your feet, or a geyser spouts off in the distance. It's quiet, but it's eerie because these climactic events happen sort of randomly.
Well, it might be quiet except for the music being played over the cameras.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, that may have not gone as well as we thought, but we've still made good time. Let's keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're still breathing.
For now. Sorry, I'm the pessimist in
I
today's
go a bit to
little
the side,
adventure.
I fold my arms at the camera and go, I bet I wouldn't have lost my survival kit had I taken the shot last time. Next time a situation like this happens, I'm taking a shot despite what both Colin and Gareth say. Just you watch.
And just as you say that, a geyser spouts right behind you on camera. It's perfect.
It's nice.
That's a good shot.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, the next hour goes without incident. You've managed to sort of get the hang of this. You've figured out a good tactic to use to move over the ground. You've avoided any more hot spots. Off to the west, you hear a really big, really loud animal scream. Something really big just screamed really loud. Dinosaur-like kind of sound.
Here we go again.
You beat me to the punch.
There's something really, really big in that forest, and you're going to have to go through there within the next couple hours.
What a shame.
Really? You're not a cowboy. Come on.
I'm not saying I'm a cowboy. I'm just saying if it happens to be in our way, I don't see why we shouldn't just shoot it.
Well, I don't disagree. But
No, it
let's
doesn't
not go
quite sound like a
looking
cow.
for trouble.
I'm not looking for trouble. I just happen.
You
I'm just
always
gonna be very
look for
fortunate enough
trouble.
Trouble will find us.
For the next hour, this conversation continues. A little bickering is always good for reality television. Until you find yourselves on the edge of the forest. I'm going to swap the image.
Somewhere in that hour, Gareth notes that this bickering has gone on for far longer than 3 to 5 minutes.
It's because you won't let me shoot anything.
Oh, I get the feeling you'll have your chance pretty soon.
That makes me feel better. Wait, what am I saying? No, it doesn't. I know what happens when John starts shooting stuff.
Things die.
Bigger stuff comes out.
That's right.
Now here's the forest. It's really misty and foggy. It's going to be very slow moving, and at some point in here, you guys have 100 miles to go. So obviously this is going to take you probably 4 days. You're going to have to sleep somewhere. You might want to start thinking now about where you're going to want to camp, like setting something up, because in a couple hours you're going to need to sleep somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's that little problem again that we tend to have, having to camp.
Camp is an
Work something
issue.
out. I don't have my survival pro kit with me, but I mean, we can still try and camp anyway. We'll get around. There's got to be some nice, easy places to camp around. But let's go a bit further in, find somewhere nice, and a little bit less dangerous, and then we'll camp for the night.
Would it be possible within the technology and the rules of the show for Gareth to have Sune come in and be the campsite each evening?
That is not impossible at all, and
I
not
love
outside
that
the rules of
idea.
the show. Your ship is part of your package.
I like it. So all we have to do is make sure we go somewhere with open air. It can land, we can get on, sleep, get off, daytime.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm not sure you're going to be able to contact Sune from inside the depths of the jungle, so maybe before you get deep in, you're going to want to make that call.
Sounds good. Just give it basic coordinates. I think we'll be able to meet by the end of the day.
And the main camera cuts back to Duncan Helios, who's describing the Sune and her operating parameters as you see the ship come in behind him, automatically guided by your signal to your own sort of GPS location, setting down at the edge of where the lava lands meet the forest just beside you. Nice shot. Got the sun in the background. Everything's purple.
I love it.
That's good. Now, the ship is atmospheric capable, but, you know, due to the trees are very, very tall, but you're going to have to kind of be careful moving the ship through here. You're going to have to move very slowly and sort of close to the ground.
Okie doke.
So here's the question. Is anybody proceeding on foot, or are you all actually traveling in the vehicle?
Wouldn't that be cheating?
That's what I would think. But if it's
Yeah.
within the rules of the show, it would make perfect
It'd be
sense.
cheating. We would have to get off and walk.
We don't
and
call it
have lead us
cheating.
up
We
onwards.
call it taking an advantage.
Then why don't we just fly to the end zone?
Well, why don't we?
We'll be out of this in 15 minutes.
You do have you're not allowed to simply fly over the jungle into the end zone. You do have to go through the jungle. But your ship is considered part of your equipment, so you're allowed to use it. If you can think of a way to use it, you're allowed to use it. Now here's the downside, and this applies mostly for Gareth. This ship is what, $62 million worth of equipment.
Something big, yeah.
Okay. If something big damages this ship, you're out. You're in debt now for like $42 million already.
That is awesome. I'm sorry. That's
You are quite upside down on this vehicle. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
So there's the risk. If you want to take Sune through the jungle, you've just heard something dinosaur-sized a little while ago. There is a possibility that something that big could literally do destructive damage to the ship.
I think that we're probably better off in the long term having the ship come down beneath the canopy for our evening camp, and probably traveling on foot while the ship is safe above the canopy during the day.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smartest thing. We can sleep above the canopy and then descend back down in the morning.
That's a good point.
Provided you can find a hole in the canopy big enough to get the ship through, that's a good idea.
The ship has gun on it, right? Can't we just make a hole?
It
Yeah.
does. The ship has a laser weapon? Yeah, right?
So,
Yeah.
Love it.
never look for parking again.
That's right. Who needs parking? We'll just hover and sleep.
All right. It's not time to make camp yet, but you've got your ship now. You've got your plan. Just a little bit ahead of you, you see a plant that you thought it was a plant, but I guess it turns out to be an animal, or half plant, half animal, because it suddenly bends over, and what you thought were leaves actually turn out to be legs, and it runs down the path and away from you. And you see another plant bend over and run away.
This is
It's like
fascinating.
yeah, it's like they're waking up. I don't know if it's you that's making them run away. Something's making these things run away.
And to the camera, Gareth would say, in John speak, fascinating just means I want to shoot that.
Okay, so there's fat little pods with root-like limbs. They're about the size of a medium-sized dog. They are close enough to shoot if you wanted to. Is that
No, they're running away. If they're running away, they're not really prey out. They're just fleeing about. You have to catch them unawares, get them in the back of the head, and sort them out. If they're running away, they're probably running with something bigger. I'd rather wait for something bigger things to arrive instead.
All right, so we move on through the jungle. The next hour goes without incident, and if it weren't for the fact that you guys occasionally bicker, it would probably make for some boring television. This part would probably be cut out. But after a while, it's now time where you're growing definitely tired. You've gotten deep into the forest. It's time for you to make camp. So how does this work? How do you do it?
I think Sune makes a hole in the canopy, hovers down, we get inside, and it hovers right back up through the hole.
All right. So this is it's still you though operating the gun.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna want a grace roll from you.
I believe in you.
Give me the highest one.
Looks like 5.
No problem. Okay, just wanted to make sure that something disastrous or stupid didn't happen.
We didn't
So
shoot a giant branch on our own heads.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
piss off exactly the thing you didn't want to piss off. So yeah, you managed to carve a ship-shaped hole in the canopy, and you cruise it to the top. The branches are really, really thick in some places. You have no doubt that they'll support the ship. So the sky is now black, and it's there's lots of stars, and there's a couple moons, so there's enough light to see by. But there's this weird fog. It's like you're on the top of the trees, but it's so solid up there that it's almost like standing on ground. And wherever there's holes in the canopy, there's this like fog that sort of comes up just a few feet above the canopy and rolls around. It's kind of spooky up here. You hear a lot of movement and rustling from down beneath you, and occasionally these many-legged insects will come up on the canopy. They use the tops and bottoms of the trees for moving around. So you guys are by no means alone up here. There's all sorts of life all around you.
Ooh.
A lot of it insectoid, and most of it smaller than a medium-sized dog, but occasionally you'll see like one of those centipedes. They seem to grow 5-6 feet long.
Colin's gonna make notes. It's the scientist in him. I'm gonna make notes in like my my little contestant journal. My observations. Might come in handy someday. I don't know. When I'm rich and famous, when I have the best archaeologists out there, think of like 20th century Indiana Jones.
So is everybody going to sleep inside the vehicle? Are you taking shifts? Are you taking watch? What are you doing there?
We should definitely take watch, but we should all sleep inside the vehicle because it's more
Makes
comfortable there. There probably is already beds in there for us.
Well, actually, you don't have beds, but you've got these reclining bucket seats.
They'll do.
I did not spring the extra money for cabins. It's like a little Sportster.
Presumably, it's probably got a restroom or some other basic facilities. It's got to be better than the canopy floor.
No, it doesn't. Although we can assume that you've brought along some equipment for that, but it's not actually built into the ship.
Fair enough.
Sweet, we're toting a honey pot. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, where do you want to dump that out? That's an important question.
As soon as we hit orbit.
So as you guys, who's taking first watch?
I'll take first watch. Okay. Then I can go to good evening sleep.
Jonathan's taking first watch.
Colin will take second, I guess.
And I can take third.
Okay. So as the two of you bed down and Jonathan gets up with his big gun sitting in watch position, Duncan Helios is focused on by the main camera again, and you hear him rattling off as fast as he can a whole bunch of legal terms. He's basically saying, remember that our contestants have signed insurance and legal exemption waivers. Don't try this at home. They're legally required to say that. Yeah, you guys actually had to sign papers, not only insurance waivers, but you are outside of any Earth law at this moment. So if you were to, for instance, commit murder, in theory, you've broken no law. But you also have no protection of the law.
So it's reciprocal then. Got it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So that was one of the legal agreements you had to make in order to be on the show, and it leaves the show open for contestants literally killing other contestants, which has happened in the past, and the audience loves it when that happens.
Poop. That's never a good sign.
Duly noted.
They do that for Sweeps Week.
That's awesome. Player versus player. Love it.
All right, Jonathan, your watch goes without incident. Although you're starting to get a sense of this place. It's got this sort of miasmic fog that has an odor to it of like rotting organic matter rising up from the forest floor.
Yeah.
And, there's lots and lots of life all around you, but from time to time you hear something really large move in the forest, and you notice that a bunch of smaller life forms sort of move away from it. So you're starting to get a sense of when you see the smaller creatures run away, it often means there's a bigger thing coming.
But does that mean it's coming here right now?
No. You're looking out, right? This is over a couple hours while you have your watch, right? So you're looking out over the forest canopy, and you're starting to notice the rhythms of this place.
All right, I'll keep that in mind in case I need to know it later, so I know which way to shoot.
Yeah, what you're discovering is that you can sometimes tell from the direction that smaller creatures run in where the bigger one is about to come from.
Nice. I'll make a note of that. That seems super important.
Who's got the second watch?
I'd say Gareth.
That was
Colin.
Colin.
Is it Colin does? I'll wake up Gareth anyway.
What are you waking me up for?
We decided it would be your watch instead.
Rumble, grumble.
Good night.
Oh, this is not going to end well.
So, Gareth, you taking a watch, or?
I think Gareth would head over to Colin's seat, whack Colin, and say, "It's your watch."
Oh, damn it! It's that time already.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Rub the sleep out of my eyes. That was not long enough.
Gareth goes back to bed.
So while Jonathan lays down and Gareth lays down again, Colin, you're sitting up looking out through the viewport. Your little camera hovers up in front of you, and you hear Duncan Helios. He wants to get one of those camera confessionals out of you. He's like, what's the real relationship between you and Jonathan? I mean, it seems like he wishes to be the commander around here. Is there a struggle going on for power?
No, not so much a struggle. More like sibling rivalry in a sense. He wants to be the big brother to me being the younger brother, and well, his ideas of being the older mentor type person on the team just not totally compatible with my style. So he tends to cramp my style a lot.
You heard it here, says Duncan Helios in the voiceover. A little bit of tension on the team. Is there a Dear John letter in the future for the Johns? We'll be right back after this commercial message. All right, let's see how your watch goes. The first hour.
Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta sort something out quickly. Keep going, though.
Okay. The first hour, Colin, it goes without incident, except that about 30 minutes into it, you hear a sudden violent explosion of noise from the forest floor below you, screams and hisses of agony. A large number of creatures, a melee of some kind is going on.
Oh, shit. I'm going to nudge Gareth. Hey. There's something big going on down there.
Does it have coffee?
It might, but I don't think so.
Do we care?
It's really kind of large sounding. I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I'm a little jumpy.
Are there any sensors or scanning equipment that we might be able to use?
Yeah, there is.
Scan away, buddy.
Boop, 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 boop.
All right. What you're getting is one very, very large life form heat source. It's maybe 40, 50 feet in length, and it's being swarmed by a couple dozen smaller life forms. These to you are just heat signatures, so you can't tell their body size or shape exactly. You just see a bunch of hot things jumping all over a really, really big hot thing. It looks like they're succeeding in bringing it down.
That is amazing.
John's going to be glad he missed this.
What was that?
Said John's going to be glad he missed this.
Right. We're going to need our game master to come back in. He just dropped out of the hangout.
Yep.
He will pop back in. So while he's gone, let's plot. That's probably a good time for me to tinker with my camera some more. I moved all of my equipment today, and then I just messed everything up. Teach me to clean and move stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Game Master. Well, we're going to break for intermission. No, I'm just kidding. Because if I stop recording, then it just stops.
Now for these messages from, what was it, Body Nanny?
Yeah, Body Nanny. The nanotechnology that works on the inside.
It loves to eat toxins.
Yes, body nanny. I'm gonna have to requisition some for Christmas. That way I can continue to eat all kinds of shit food and drink all kinds of great beer.
That's the way it works.
Yeah, man.
Apparently.
It'll eat the toxins before I gain weight. I love it. It eats calories. I like it even better. Then I wouldn't have to exercise.
Might depend on the calories.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's good calories, bad calories, like empty calories. I'm good at empty calories.
And I'm back.
Welcome
That's
back,
okay.
John.
Welcome back, JJ.
Thank you. Why you guys? Why are you so mad at me? What happened?
There's a big thing being eaten by a lot of little things, but we're
Oh,
waiting
is
for
that cool? I shoot it.
come back.
Well, Colin got kind of into a panic state that he woke up Gareth and then he fired the game master.
But you shot something without me?
No, we're watching it on the sensors. They're like heat signature blips on the screen.
Well, what was it? Did you see?
No, we have no idea.
Little things.
It's a larger thing-ish. Just a larger heat blob with a whole bunch of little heat blobs around it, like attacking it.
We should go investigate.
That's 1,000 feet
door.
below us.
Oh, it's 1,000 feet below us. Well, we can go down a little bit, right? We just sink a little bit. Open the bottom, take a look.
Here, open the door, slide the hatch open. I'm gonna kick him out.
Much
I'm
faster
gonna use
that
some
way.
of my progressive character generation points, and we're gonna have a flashback. Well, no, we're gonna flash forward. I'm gonna put a boot in your ass. Out the door you go. Tell me how it feels to land.
Wow,
You're gonna conduct a
wow.
little
I think
experiment.
someone is just jealous about my big gun.
Oh, maybe.
Depends on who wound up with the rubber stick.
Yeah, I want to know how good that rubber stick actually worked.
I don't know. Well, we didn't fall into any more pits,
Well, that is true.
so I guess technically it means it worked really well. Where did he go?
The ether.
Yeah, cyberspace ate him. We're waiting for him to see if he pops back in.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine. He's probably just his computer just crashed or something. And there he is.
There he is. It's probably some stupid Google glitch.
Wow.
The ether burped him back out.
I'm back, gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Yay!
Yeah, my Google Talk plugin crashed.
Well, that sucks.
That did suck. Had to just go and come back again. Here we are.
Nice.
Okay, so what was just happening a minute ago was that you had noted a big disturbance in the jungle floor below, and from your scans it indicated a whole bunch of small creatures were bringing down a really, really large creature, like 50-foot long thing. The question that I don't think you heard, because it's probably right when I got cut off, was whether you wanted to get a closer look at what was going on or just ignore it.
Apparently, John's woken up now. And
John was
he's-
pretty excited by this.
Unless someone wakes me up, I won't know.
Well, I would think Colin gets excited about these things. You know, he's used to dealing with like old dead things and ancient artifacts and rocks. So, you know, like really cool, like trippy, sciencey, life formy kind of things. He gets excited. He gets animated. So I would imagine that that John is woken up by his noise and banter and.
He's got a little biologist in him.
He might be a closet biologist. I'm not sure. Well, he's into geology and archaeology, so.
There is a circle of life.
Yeah,
If
I just like the dead
biology
side of
gets
it.
large enough, it tends to become geology.
True story.
I say we go down and investigate. I mean, go down and take a look.
That's what you said last time.
Yeah,
And
you
the
know what?
time
Okay,
before that.
hang on a
I
second.
still
I'm
have
just going
the
to cut
teeth
something off.
marks.
I'm going to cut one moment right now. Whoever's out there in the movie universe, can we please do a montage of all the other things everyone else has said that went horribly wrong, which, by the way, are just as equal as mine?
I love it.
I like a comedy montage of everyone else going, let's do this, and all of us go and hype crazy jinx, and everyone's like, let's do that. And I go, well, you know what, you all did exactly the same. Stop using that's what you said as an excuse.
Okay.
This is when
so
we
this-
find out that they're still using the Benny Hill theme 100 years from now.
So this is
And why not? It's public domain.
yeah, there you go. So Garrett, this is what I suggest. Let's give John his little moment in the sun, as it were, to shine. We can go down and make sure that this thing is no threat to us. And if he feels so inclined to go game hunting, from the relative safety of this pretty stable platform, so be it. We'll let him have his little minute of fame.
Better idea.
hold on, you
Rather
think
than
it's a
lowering
side
the ship down into this battlefield of unidentifiable heat signatures, why don't we just tie a rope around him and lower him down through the trees?
What part of none of this plan do both of you not understand? We need to see what it is, so in case we come up against it, we know what to do.
Now, I will have to agree with him on that point.
This is clearly why we should go down and take a look.
I really can't agree with him on most points, but on this one I do.
I'm fine.
Thank you. Let's take a look.
As long as I get to save the girl at the end, it's all good.
None of us are women.
Duncan's
So-
voiceover pops in again, and he does a little. He does that little montage. They've got a couple pieces of audio from yesterday, showing you, basically playing you guys bickering with each other. And he's laughing. Is there trouble in the Johns camp? Well, at least this time they managed to reach consensus as they go down to explore the jungle floor. Let's tune in.
I'll never get used to that.
Maybe we should have lowered him down on a rope now that I think about it.
Yeah, dangle him like
You are starting to push it, Colin.
Then we'll really see what big things are crawling around down there.
I'm starting to grow into my skin. Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's easy for Duncan Helios because he's just sort of hovering on this platform far away from any danger.
Yeah.
And also
I don't like this guy.
He's the host!
Still don't like him. He's an antagonistic fool.
So how are we going? No, he's just here to sensationalize your trials and tribulations for Almighty Mammon.
Exactly.
Power to the hegemony, bro.
Well, pilot, shall we descend?
Descend we are.
Yeah, that's what I want to see here. So Garup, you need to make a piloting roll now. This is going to be Grace plus your pilot mod.
To be a +1.
You hear Colin in the background. Don't fuck it up.
That's the third F word in the game so far.
I got my one in. I'm
I
good.
think that's 4th or 5th. It looks like the lowest is a 3 and the highest is a 6.
Okay, you take the highest, add the bonus to it, and total is what, 7?
6.
6? All right, just want to make sure you didn't fuck up.
Here we
Put the
go.
not safe for work tag on this
You know,
when
it's
we're
a
done.
very, yeah, it's a very slow, controlled descent is what he's going for here, and he manages to pull it off nicely. What you see is, imagine if a brontosaurus was a carnivore. So it's this incredibly long neck thing with this massive body. It's like 50 feet long, but it has a big sort of a crocodilian head with all these spikes and massive fangs in its mouth. It is being attacked by a couple dozen of these the 10-legged lizards that you saw before. They're crawling all over it and just biting chunks out of it. It is much, much larger than them, but it's like the death of 1,000 knives. It's now bleeding from 100 different places. It's thrashing around. It's starting to knock over trees. You guys are in danger of getting swiped by its tail just being near here. What do you do?
Let's not stay long.
Yeah. We've seen what we need to see. It's clearly losing. Let's leave it to it.
Colin's gonna fill a bio bag.
With what exactly?
So
you know.
Blood splatter.
So Garifo, you take it back
Going
up to
back
the
up.
top again?
Yep.
Back up to
You
the
want
top.
another roll?
Yeah, do another roll for me. You just have to beat 2. I mean, it's a really easy maneuver.
Yeah. Highest is 6, so that should be
Yeah.
a success.
Yeah. You're back up on the top. Let's see how that goes down below. Battle goes on for quite a few minutes. At one point, the tree that the Sune is depending on is struck by the tail of the creature or the body of it. And there's a shuddering. The entire ship shakes, the tree shakes, but it's not enough to dislodge you. And then after several minutes, the big creature stops making noises, and evidently it's dead.
Those little things were nasty.
In groups, at least.
Have they been named? I look over at Colin.
Colin flips through his notebook.
10-legged centipedes.
Yeah.
Snurfalosaurus?
Oh, well, they're called Pediosaurus, but I mean that's an old world name for them, so I don't know what their newest iteration is on this planet, but closest thing that
If I
it
recall
resembles.
on Earth that was, don't you get to name the creature if you found it first? Technically, you found it first.
Moi?
Well,
I'll give it to you because this is the stuff that scientists do, and I think you're like a geologist. Is that the same thing?
it's true. Let me
Yes,
point out,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
you
For the
guys-
record, geology is still a science. How many times must I tell you this?
you
I'm
guys
not
are
saying it's not.
You're
I'm
not the
just saying.
first. You're not the first people here, though. Right? I mean, the
But
scouts for the scouts
No
for
one
the
has
show
named
came
it.
out beforehand.
So it doesn't make it official.
Maybe we're gonna have to look that up when we get home to Earth.
Hmm. So name it,
You
Colin.
know, what you might want to do, though, I mean, if you're considering that you may be the discoverer of this creature, would be bringing home a specimen.
Ooh.
Yeah, so why don't you obtain a specimen for me, Mr.
Right, let's go down
Big
then.
Game Hunter?
Well, as a big game hunter, you would obviously know this. Live specimens are worth more than dead ones, but just about any specimen you bring home from another planet or dimension is going to be worth money to some collector somewhere. I mean, that's how you make your money.
And we can probably get this whole thing on tape of us capturing one.
Well, we could probably do that. Seems like if
good
we can
plan.
isolate one, I mean, we should be able to do this.
Last
Let's
time we
scout
tried
around,
to
see
carry
the
a
moment,
critter
see-
in Sune, I spent weeks cleaning feces out of the ventilation system.
Well,
Well, we'll
who
keep
let
it
it get in
covered.
the ventilation system? John?
Actually, it was you. I said keep the creature outside on a stick. You insisted bringing it in because it was so cute. That's actually what happened.
Okay, it's still your fault, but okay.
I love it.
It's not my fault, I swear.
I know, it's fine. Makes up for the other times I did it.
Now you've got one cubic meter of storage space, though, that cargo hold that you added onto the ship. So you could conceivably, I mean, if you got it unconscious, you could conceivably shove one of these creatures into there.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right. Gareth, we need you to fly us down to the forest floor again. Just
And
beat
then we'll
it.
keep an eye out, see if we can't find one that's weak, and then grab it.
That looks like a success.
All right. We're back down on the forest floor. It is early morning hours now. It's been like 6 hours. So you're starting to see the beginnings of false dawn as you're just beginning to move down into the darkness of the canopy. In an hour or two, it will be dawn. The forest is still very lively because there's this gigantic carcass now, and bugs are coming out and flying things are coming down and taking pieces off of it. A big, huge, massive, smelly, dead, long neck thing laying here. Do you see any of the 10-legged lizards? No. They've taken their fill. They've taken their fill and gone off, but they can't have gone far.
Well, can we try and track them down?
Yeah, that's what hunters do, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Isn't one random carrion eater as good as any other 10-legged lizard critter?
No, we're going to get the one we wanted. Come on, it'll be fun.
That means out of the ship.
Yep.
All right, we're getting out of the ship. We're looking at the ground. Wow, Jonathan, you don't actually even have like a survival skill. I was trying to figure out what to put tracking on. Let's call it brains.
Cool.
Give me a brains roll. Tracking, let's call that DL4.
Oh, I've got a 5 and a 1. Does that
You
count?
get your own theme music while you
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You got the camera zooming like in on your face and then around past your shoulder to see what you're seeing, and then back in on your face again. Be edited with music. It'll be a really cool shot.
Everybody loves the Ice Cream Man music.
Why is there ice cream man music anyway?
Can you hear my Ice Cream Man?
Oh my God, can we? Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me tell you about this Ice Cream Man. Okay, it's going past my window. Finally, he's moving on. But this guy is like, it's a gray van. It's probably like 25 years old. It's covered in gray primer. That's all it is. It looks like the psychopath pedophile van.
Oh God.
And he's got this song where at the beginning of the song there's a female voice that goes, "Hello," and then the music starts. So he likes to hit the button over and over again. So
Hello,
it goes,
hello, hello.
hello.
Your
Any
Ice
other
Cream Man is
business in
not
the
the only
world?
one that
No,
does that.
seriously. I mean, any other business in the world tried to do this, they would be like shouted out of town. What are you doing? You
Ice cream
asshole.
man brings ice cream.
He brings joy and happiness to all the kids.
And also
I'm sorry.
ice cream. This is important.
He's
You know,
challenging
we got a
my
pack full of
sugar authority. I have sugar authority in this house.
But do you have ice cream?
Very rarely.
Well then.
Case
That's what
made.
happened when his internet went out. He ran for ice cream.
He's like, ah!
Is he gone now? Can you not hear him anymore? He's further away.
It's
He's in the
really
background.
faint.
I hate that guy. Okay, we're back now on the forest. I'm sorry, I just hate that guy so much.
It's fine.
We're back on the forest floor. John, yeah, you have figured out the way that they went. There's a very distinctive sort of path or footprints that they leave, because they've got the 10 legs, and it's a really strange-looking trail that they leave. And you can see that they've broken into a couple smaller groups.
Ooh.
So it looked like there were about 24 of them here, and they break into 3 different trails. You can follow any one of them you want to.
I'll follow one of the least people.
With the least number of... Okay, so you've got one where it looks like there were 3 of them. And they're
All right,
sort
I'll
of
do
going
it.
off due north, which is the direction you guys are going to want to go anyway.
Even better.
Now, there are places where you lose the trail for a little bit. There's all sorts of, foliage and crap covering the jungle floor. And, of course, there's that mist that's always swirling around, making it kind of difficult to see. But you manage to track them to there's like a, I don't want to say lake because it's smaller than a lake, but it's like a pool of black water and a bunch of hedge-like bushes on one side of it. The tracks are leading into those bushes.
Ooh.
But what you notice particularly when you enter this area is that the black water, it's very thick and viscous like oil, and there are shapes moving, there are swells in it. There's movement below the surface. Large things, like shark-sized things.
Right, I'm gonna try to avoid the shark-sized things. If that's okay with everyone else, just not my cup of tea.
Yeah. So you guys are now you've come through the forest into a clearing, and in the middle of this clearing is this black pool, and on the sides of the pool are this hedge-like bushes, really thick brambly bushes, and it's into those bushes, sort of around the side of the pool, that the tracks lead. It's going to be really hard getting into these bushes.
Assuming that my suit has the similar sensors as Sune, I'll attempt to do a thermal scan and see if I can't find some sort of sign of life forms.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll for that. They're definitely in there. They're maybe 10 or 15 feet in. Looks like clustered together in a clump. You would imagine like they've hollowed out a space inside the bushes, underneath the bushes. But being centipedes, they have a much easier time getting through this area than you would. Now, you could blast or hack the bushes, but before you got to them, they'd probably scamper. Of course, might do that on purpose, to scamper them.
Well, we could do that. We could throw something in and get my gun ready, and then when they scamper, I can take a shot, right?
That's what beating the bushes means.
Yep,
Well, let's try that.
you're the hunter.
I'll get my gun ready.
You probably
Set
still
it
have
to
that
stun.
big... Let's say you still have that big stick.
Ooh, that useful
A rubber stick.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Gareth
will
can take
beat
the rubber
about the
stick.
bushes.
Okay.
Okay, the cameras are zooming back to get a good view of this. Who's going to beat the bushes?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So I got my gun ready. I'm standing there.
Yeah,
Camera
exactly.
zoomed in a bit, and I'm like,
Hey,
3 seconds.
Gareth,
Sorry.
what are you doing?
I am probably going to wait for this to go horribly wrong.
Are you pulling out your gun, maybe?
That's probably part of waiting for it to go horribly wrong.
All right. So from Colin, let's have a grace roll. Beat 2.
All right. Got a 5.
Double
Alright, so
what? Fuck you. Oh.
he doesn't do anything tremendously uncoordinated with the stick. He manages to hit the bushes in an approximately, reasonable location. And that scares out one of these creatures. He moves straight up, out the top. You see the head of one of these centipede-like creatures with its big sideways moving mandibles. Pops up, looks directly at you. Jonathan, it's a tough shot. He's got like 3/4 cover right now, but if you're going to get a shot, you've got one here.
So the camera zoomed in a little bit on my face. So I've got myself down. I've got myself leveled up on a point, and I go, when you take a shot, nothing matters more than you and your prey. You only have one chance before either it gets away or it eats you, and you have to make it count. And that one shot, everything in your life depends on it. Your life, your friend's life, everything. So you can't afford to miss.
Meanwhile, Gareth's giving him rabbit ears in the background.
Okay. This thing is fast, and remember that it's well covered. All you can see is its head. So you need to beat an 8. We're going to throw every mod you can think of in here, right?
Okay.
So
Well, I'm ready for it. So get +1.
I'll give you a +1 for that. Yeah.
I have +1 to weapons shooting.
Right, and a +2 from the gun itself.
Yeah, so I have a +4 on 3
Which
dice.
means That's right, which means you need one of those dice to come up 4 or higher.
Will a 6 do?
A 6 will absolutely blow the head off that thing.
It's on stun.
A 6 will absolutely stun that thing.
I was about to yell at you again for destroying the specimen.
And you know what? Unfortunately, it does not just fall back into the bush. It gets sort of hung up on the branches of the bush, so it's going to be easy to retrieve.
Grab it.
Yay!
Good. Okay, that thing is stunned. What happens to the others? Nothing. You don't know what the others are doing. You know there's 2 more in there.
I don't think we care. We've got what we wanted. Let's go. There's black water. There's things coming out of it. Let's just leave as we came and keep an eyes open. get back to the ship and move, and get back on track and move on.
Okay, that's an experience point for Jonathan.
Yeah.
All right, so did you say you're taking it?
Yeah.
Who's taking it?
Garrett, or not Garrett, Colin. Colin's going to grab it.
All right, the others don't pop up as you're grabbing it. So you now have this carcass of like a 5-foot-long centipede. Now, it's stunned, which means it ain't dead. It's going to wake up eventually. You got to do something with it quick.
So we can lock it up in the cargo hold, right?
Straight into the cargo hold?
Yep.
Would I have, is it reasonable I would have something in my Science Pro kit that I can use to...
keep it drugged?
Either A, keep it drugged, or keep it contained in something smaller than, say, the entire cargo hold?
I'm sure Gareth has a hammer and duct tape.
Yeah, use something like a specimen bag, right?
Yeah, or maybe like one of those molecular unfolding and refolding like specimen cages.
Ooh.
I think I could give you that. Yeah.
So yeah, I think think of it as like a large like raccoon trap or something. That just kind of the molecular structure allows it to collapse and expand to a desired length and size. And
I'm going to say, since it's archaeology and geology that you do, it's not really designed to keep a creature alive. It's designed to like protect artifacts, specimens, bones,
right.
Stuff like that.
I'm good with that.
So this thing may not be able to breathe in there, is what I'm saying.
We can poke some holes in the side.
Yeah, I was going to say, can I cut some holes there?
Yeah, just cut some holes in it. Just a little poke here and there. Just keep it fresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then where do you put that?
That goes in the cargo hold.
Okay, so it's in a bag with air holes inside the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is fascinating. This is Duncan Helios doing the little voiceover, and he's explaining that you're bringing back a specimen for Earth scientists to examine. We don't know, but we will have the word from our sponsors from our researchers on Earth whether this is the first live specimen to be brought back or not. If it is the first live specimen, it will definitely be worth some additional cash for our 3 contestants, the Johns. And now back to the game in progress.
Gareth's like, they're probably going to call it the body naniosaur.
Or they're going to call it, like, Team Jonosaur or something silly.
Colin, you still have the right to name it.
I hope so. That's an important thing to me.
Well, just try and enjoy it for now, right? No need to be a child about it.
The sun is beginning to come up and stream through the canopy in some places. It is dawn on the planet Zuud.
Time to go, boys. We've got a lot of walking to do.
You're starting to hear creatures in the trees moving around again. It's a different sound than at night. So it's like the diurnal creatures are waking up and the nocturnal creatures are going to sleep. Different set of sounds. Up ahead of you, you see it looks like a large beetle, sort of a cross between a beetle and an armadillo. It's about 2 feet long, and it crosses the path, and a giant, like a pitcher plant, sort of swoops over and captures it inside, and then stands back up again. You can see the plant jiggling as the creature is struggling inside it.
I stun it.
Plant?
Oh, so is the plant? I got it right.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
the
not.
Plant just the plant sort of bent over. You ever seen a pitcher plant?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a wide deep mouth on top. Well, picture one of those. It sort of bends over, captures the creature in its mouth, and then stands upright again to sort of swallow it.
Okay, we're gonna walk around that. Give it a wide berth.
Did we remember to pack the defoliant?
No, I think we left DDT back on Earth.
Next time.
Oh well.
We packed the DEET, not the DDT.
Okay.
Well, what do you think, gentlemen? We keep moving?
Keep moving. We have to keep moving.
Okay, the two of you that are not wearing survival suits, you get the stench of that black water. The smell that I mentioned earlier, it's coming from this water. It smells like old fish and rotting meat. The water is like bubbling and heaving.
Ugh.
You have to go around that. And so let's see here. We want to find a path. There are paths moving through the forest. Let's get survival rolls from everybody.
All right. Would that be brains?
We're gonna make it brains. Plus, if you have survival skill, add that.
4.
6.
6.
All right, those 6s are the ones who spot a path that you can move through. It's getting really, really dense. It's harder and harder to find a path that you're not going to have to like use something to hack your way through. So you're getting into the densest parts of the jungle now. The sounds are all around you. It's very, very dark, but at least you managed to put some distance between you and that smelly lake. And you're going to have to push on like this for several hours. What do you guys? How are you feeling right now?
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
I'm actually, as I'm walking, I've actually got a spring in my step. So I look at the camera and I go, yesterday I may not have been at my best. It's the first day of the mission. We're walking over land. I'd lost my kit. Wasn't feeling it. But this morning, I got to catch something. I put in a cargo hold. And I am feeling great. Super better than great. We're in the forest. We're on our feet. We're touching the earth. Something a lot of humans don't get to do very often. We're touching raw earth and meeting all kinds of flora and fauna. The more we meet, the more fun this is going to get for me. I cannot wait until the end of this. We finally reach back, look back on everything we've done, and realize just exactly how much we've accomplished as a team.
The camera focuses in on Gareth for a while, and he's quiet for a bit, and then after a minute or two of silence, he just says, "I'd really like some coffee."
Nice.
The camera, the little drone bot comes in on Colin and kind of flutters there and bounces around a little bit, and Colin kind of like wipes his brow. He's kind of dripping with sweat, that quintessential like I've been in the jungle for days kind of look. This place sucks. It is hot. It is miserable. I don't care what John says about feeling great about touching the earth and seeing flora and fauna. If it ain't old civilization artifacts or cold stones, I don't want it. I don't like it. This is a miserable, godforsaken place. Now off with you. And I kind of like shoo the bot away.
Wow. Well, you've heard it here, says Duncan Helios. It sounds like the tensions are growing hotter in the camp of the Johns. Let's see if they manage to make it through the second half of this mission, coming right after this commercial message. And then we cut for a commercial message.
Is it possible to shoot Duncan?
He's on another planet.
I thought he was flying on his hoverboard.
Yeah, or somewhere else.
Oh, damn it. I want to shoot
We
him.
do have a great big gun and no legal obligations.
He's not
Okay.
here.
Oh, shit, he's got a prop or something. He's about ready to bust out here.
Yeah, tonight's commercial message is brought to you by the Church of OMG, the One Miraculous God. This is a public service announcement reminding you, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'chadlek ner shel Hanukkah. That's what the camera shows as someone speaks a bunch of Hebrew and lights a bunch of candles. And then the logo of OMG appears as the voiceover reminds you that this week, culture of the week, the Jews. You may not remember the Jews. Once a humble desert tribe grew to be a great religion last century. This week, examine the Jews.
Bravo.
Would you like to know more?
No, I would not. Stop.
If you would like to know more about this ancient religion, contact your local OMG kiosk. Remember, ask OMG, the one miraculous God. Swipe your card and save your soul. Now back to your show in progress.
I believe we've been touched by a noodly appendage.
That's just that rubber stick we had.
No, it's a thing. Ever since OMG came into fashion, you know, all the leaders of the world's religions had to get together and agree on a program, but they didn't want to give up their cultural heritage or the details of their faith. And so what they decided to do was sort of subsidize each week of the year to a different faith. And this week it's the Jews.
Excellent. Because there's always 8 crazy nights.
Nobody really remembers what those religions are about anymore, but they had in common that there was one miraculous God. So that's really the only core religious belief that has survived. Everything else is considered, you know, cultural shopping. So if any of you have Jewish heritage, you can like get off on this, and if you don't, just remember it's the week of the Jews. Ask the OMG.
Right, I'm out. Bye.
Now back to your show already in progress. As you guys are moving through the dank, misty, dark forests of Zud,
Yes.
have we got Gareth in point position again?
Probably.
He has the thing of the eyes. That's what we have.
All right.
We love him in
Gareth, give me a grace roll. Roll your grace dice as high as you can, and you are trying to beat a 5.
It looks like I succeed.
Nice.
That's good, because you have just a little bit of warning before something's falling on you from the canopy above. Several things are falling, big things, man-sized things.
I probably get like a little proximity alert in the visor and do some fancy maneuver with the jump jets.
Yeah, you get a little bit of warning. The cameras look up, and what you see is 6 of those 10-legged centipedes. They were hanging upside down from the leaves directly overhead. They wanted to drop directly on you, but your suit warned you, and you managed to jump out of the way. They hit the ground. They're on the attack. They're coming toward all 3 of you. What you gonna do?
Switch gun to rapid fire mode.
I know 2 of you got guns out. What about Colin?
Colin is going to pull his gun, but he is also going to seek some kind of cover. He's the smarter, not harder guy.
You could run around behind. You could run around behind the ship.
I was thinking I was just going to run around and hide behind John, but that's okay.
Oh, there's that. There's that.
The ship works too.
Okay, so Gareth and John, you both have your guns already drawn, so you guys can go ahead and roll for me right now. This is going to be a grace roll plus your gun mods.
How many things can I shoot at once?
In one round, it'll just be 1.
Oh, okay.
Unless you roll super well. And the number y'all are trying to beat is a 5. Here they come.
Oh, I beat that.
Success.
Did you beat it by more than 1? What do we got? Say your number.
4, 5, 6, 7.
A 7 is a yes.
Actually, I did roll a 7 because I've got a +1 on the pistol.
Whoa, you guys are awesome. I'm giving you 2 experience points each because you blew 4 of them away before they managed to close the distance. There's only 2 left.
Cool. So, actually, can I blow one up and one's coming and just smack you with my gun instead? Does it look cool?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, since you beat the score by more than 1, you actually get to narrate this. If you want to tell me what happens.
Yeah. So one's running towards me. I see them both coming. Both jump. I shoot one, but I know I don't have time to aim for the other one. So when I shoot one, I let the recoil flip the gun up, so it flips like that, and it knocks the other one out of the way.
Oh, that's cool.
And I grab and go, roll again and go to the next one.
That's cool, and that looks so good on camera.
Get a little blood splatter on the lens.
All right, so there's 4 of these suckers dead. There's 2 more still coming at you. Colin, you've got behind a tree, and you've managed to get your gun out. So this round, all three of you get to roll, plus my 2 bugs. So here we go again. Second round, they're still attacking. Oh, this time they do a lot better. I got an 8.
6, 7, 8. I got an 8 as well.
My highest is a 7.
Who are they coming for? They're coming
Oh no,
for...
I'm an 8 because I have firearms
all
and my
around.
pistol's a +1.
Everyone's 8. Everyone wrote 8.
Yeah, everyone got an 8. The 2 they were attacking are Gareth and Jonathan. The highest... Did anybody roll a natural 6?
I did.
No,
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys get your shots off first. That means that these 2 creatures are going to die this round. But since you tied me, it's a yes. But what that means is I'm going to roll a random mishap,
Those are
and then I'm going to roll randomly who it occurs to. Where's my mishap chart?
That would be in the Game Master's Guide.
Right.
Where is the Game Master's Guide? Probably, I guess.
Oh, you weren't asking like literally where it was. Oh, okay.
No, I was asking literally where it was, but I'm looking at I have a printed out version of the screen, the GM screen, so it's located in a different place. Sorry, Jonathan, it's you. I think it was probably that awesome maneuver you did last round. You were so full of yourself that you were thinking a little bit more about how you look on camera, and you slip on some wet leaves. You're on your ass right now. That, unfortunately, was also caught on camera.
Oh.
But while you do that, the other 2 gentlemen managed to plug the other 2 bugs. So Jonathan falls on his ass while Gareth and Colin take care of the remaining monsters. That's 1 more XP for Colin. 1 XP for Colin, your first one.
Yep.
And another one for Gareth.
Woohoo!
I sigh.
Now,
I shoot
if
the-
I didn't say so a minute ago, it should have been 2 XP for Gareth and 2 for Jonathan last round.
Got it.
I shot that last one just as it was rearing over our fallen Jonathan. You're welcome.
That's going in the blooper reel.
I look at you and a sort of, I totally had that.
Oh, he's so full of shit. Totally.
Up above you, you see more of those 10-legged crawlers. Apparently, this is a common tactic. They like to hang out upside down and drop on their prey. So one thing to consider now that you know is to look up.
Yeah, right.
Thanks
How
for the
about we
heads.
call them dropoids?
Oploids sounds pretty good.
Drop dragons.
Dragons.
Follipedes.
Follipedes is genius.
I kind of like cultaloids.
Why cultaloids?
Well, it's a little bit from my name, a little bit from
Oh.
you know, it's got a little bit of everybody's name in there, a little bit.
Wait, I definitely have Jonathan St. John in there.
Oh, I forgot to include you. I'm sorry.
I'm taking back my right to give you the naming now.
I'm so sorry. No, I'm not.
Right,
Well,
let's get moving. We've
This
gotta
is
speed up.
hilarious
Catch
as
up.
the cameras are kind of swirling around you. This is capturing some hilarious television. Unfortunately, your laughter, Colin, seems to have aroused something. The surface of the lake that you left behind a minute ago. You hear a loud splashing noise and a loud groaning, sort of a grumbling, groaning sound. It's very, very large. Sounds like that dinosaur-like voice that you heard earlier. Something really big is coming out of that lake.
Okay,
Oh
time to
shit.
go.
Run!
Wait, why are we running? Starts to catch up. Like, I'm sure we can find a way to do this without running.
We all start running. Gareth and Colin are running away from the sound. John's running towards it.
Okay.
I'm not running towards. I'll run with the group because otherwise I'll be on my own.
So we're all running.
Yeah.
We're running.
We wanted like the African what's called running beat music playing. Like, running away, trying to dive into the leaves and shit.
You sure it's not the Benny Hill theme again?
No, it's not. As long as it catches up with us, then it's a Benny Hill theme.
It's the Ice Cream Man theme song.
Are you guys, are you guys trying to stay together, or do you even care?
Yeah, I'm not scared of the creature, so I'm trying to stay together.
I would
In my
think we're
suit,
staying
I could
together.
probably easily outpace the other two, so I'll at least try and stay with them.
Okay. As the three of you are booking through the forest, pushing trees and branches out of your way, just trying to get away from whatever this gigantic sound is, you all have to make grace rolls. You're trying to beat a 6 because while you're running, you suddenly, and almost too fast to stop, you see a big pit in the ground that covers the path directly in front of you. And you have to try to
stop
jump.
at the edge.
Whoa.
Like
Did you beat a 6?
6.
6.
Nice.
I failed. I got a
Colin, you're falling. Colin falls into the pit.
Woo!
The other two guys stop themselves just at the edge of it, and the top slides back into place.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a sliding lid on this pit, and it just slid back into place, and it's camouflaged to look like the forest floor.
Okay, this is new.
Now, Colin, you've been separated from the group. You've fallen into you're in a black place with water. You fell into about 2 feet of water.
Oh God!
From the sound of the splash, you seem to be maybe 10 feet, 15 feet deep. You're in a room like 10 or 15 feet high and just about 8 feet wide and 8 feet long, with 2 feet of water in the floor of it. It smells really bad in here. Some things have died in here.
Great.
You've entered the trash compactor on the detention level.
Help!
Now, you two guys back up on the top. It's kind of amazing how well it was camouflaged. So it's not obvious where the edges of the door are.
Well, if we haven't moved, then I could reasonably assume that if I punch the ground in front of me, I might damage the lid.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worth a shot.
Or you could actually literally give it a shot with your giant cannon.
I'll turn into laser cutting mode. I'll try and put my way through it.
And we'll just hope that Colin's not in the way of the beam.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, let's hope I'm not in the way. Oh God.
More importantly, what is it doing here?
Are we shooting at it?
That's
Sounds
what I
like-
heard.
Well, I'm asking Jonathan. Basically, he's the one with the big gun.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and laser it. Try and laser the door open.
Okay. Give me a grace roll. Just don't fuck up, basically.
Well, I rolled a 5, so if I add all my stuff to it, that's a
Right.
6, 7, 8.
Right. So you have damaged part of it. You can see that it's wood underneath, and then some sort of sticky substance, and then a bunch of sand has been applied. It's pretty cleverly made. But now that you've put a chink in it, and you can see part of the metal underneath, or sorry, part of the wood underneath, you can now see where the edge of it is. Something else happens at that moment, because Gareth, you're looking up the path, and you see a humanoid figure step into view. It's about 30 feet away on the path. Looks to be about 8 feet tall, sort of an ape-like humanoid, dark purple in color, just watching you.
It looks like we got visitors.
Well, they got
Zillions have come out to play.
Take a number.
Okay, so now we've
I'm
got.
coming.
I got I got 3 cameras basically going on now, right? So we've got Colin. I need to know what you're doing down in the pit. Gareth, I want to know your response to the ape man who's watching you. And Jonathan, what are you doing?
I was going to cut open the hole. Can I keep cutting open the hole?
Yeah. You go ahead and we're using the laser to do it. So I'm just going to let you keep on doing it. You don't have to roll anything. So Gareth.
I'm going to keep my pistol in my hand, not raising it, but just making sure that our visitor, our observer, sees that I have at least something in my hand, and I will continue to observe our guest.
Okay, he observes you for just a few seconds, and then turns and goes behind a tree and disappears into the trees. I don't mean disappears. I mean You can't see him anymore. And back in the pit with Colin.
I am yelling and hollering, "Help! Get me out of here!" And I'm going to pull my pistol and shoot above me.
Okay, give me let's call it a grace roll.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Well, it depends on what the target is.
You fail to shoot the broadside of a barn from the inside.
Well, I got a +2, but it's just going to depend.
You know what actually happened?
I fucked up.
Your pistol jams. It must have been dropping into the water.
Oh, piss.
It's messed up now.
Damn it.
You're going to have to take it apart and clean it before it'll work again.
Bet I can't do that in the dark, can I?
That's going to be really hard to do in the dark, but it's funny you should say that because suddenly there's a little bit of light as a side panel in the pit opens up, and you can make out there's a sort of a phosphorescent green light coming from behind. Colin, you see like an 8-foot-tall purple humanoid. It's built like an ape, but you can see it more close up. It looks more reptilian than ape-like. It has tiny little eyes and tiny little nose holes and a gigantic mouth that like slits its head almost half. It is coming toward you slowly.
Oh my god.
With these large 2-fingered like pincer-like hands. They look like misshapen hands, like a thalidomide baby hands.
Fine.
Yeah, now you guys up top, you have no idea this is going on.
This is where Colin dies.
So I want to know what Colin is doing because this thing looks like it wants to literally pick you up, grab you and pick you up. You're like, I don't know how tall you are, but it's 8 feet tall, so it can pick you up.
Does it look like it wants to eat me, or like have a we're gonna have a hug fest?
It's not moving quickly. It seems to be more, I guess, curious.
I am going to. Colin's gonna yell like really loud, like "Ah!" and try to spook this thing. I don't know. So I can think of.
Okay, well, you didn't spook it. In fact, I think you had the opposite effect of what you wanted. It grabs you by the shoulders with those weird, lumpy hands, and it pulls you toward it. And as it pulls you toward it, it opens up that mouth, and you see 2 really long teeth, much longer than the other 2. Its head sort of opens up like a Canadian on South Park, like half of its head.
Nice. I guess it doesn't want to hug it out now, does it?
No, it sticks those 2 fangs into your right shoulder, and you almost immediately feel very tingly and cold.
I'm gonna lash out at this thing, like with my fists, like with the pistol in my hand. I'm gonna try to smack this thing.
Okay, I want you to give me a might roll because it's holding you while you're doing this.
First might roll the game.
I got a 6.
Oh yeah.
All right, you do manage to hit it, and it almost doesn't even mind. But at the same time, I also need a health roll from you and you're trying to beat 5.
I got a 5.
Nice.
Unless survival counts, and then I get a 6.
Because your survival is based on health, I am going to give that to you. Because it means that you have learned an ancient meditative technique for like slowing your body down but retaining consciousness. You're like hitting this meditative state, and you're able to focus your will and resist the toxin. That what it's doing is putting your muscles to sleep. You are fighting that, and you're succeeding so far in fighting it. You're going to have a grace. You're going to be at a grace disadvantage right now. Instead of being knocked out, you feel like you're drunk. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
You did a lot of yoga in college.
Yeah. So you've managed to avoid being completely knocked out. However, you do probably go a little bit limp in this thing's arms. Let's cut back up topside. You guys have no idea this is going on, but you did hear some shouting, and then the shouting stopped.
I'm still cutting my way through.
I think you're just about through now. And cool. Gareth, what are you doing?
I'm going to scan the surrounding area for any suspicious thermal signatures.
Yeah, because that guy just turned up, didn't he?
Give me a brains roll.
Any more purple people leaders?
And add 2 for your suit scanner.
It looks like the highest is an 8.
Okay, not quite down below you, because that's the pit itself, but just a little bit off from there, let's say at like 10 or 11 o'clock, and about less than 10 feet away, under the ground, there is a large number, like more than 100 heat signatures. They're not moving, and then there are a couple that are moving.
That's mildly concerning. I will share this information with my compatriot.
Miss Wanders,
faster.
Going as fast as I can.
Okay, now you have managed to, John, you have managed to cut open one side of the door, so you've got the entire side of it exposed. It looks like if you guys both pull on it, you can probably open it now.
Can I just jump on it and then make it crush inside?
You could try it.
I'll give it a shot.
I guess let's call it a might roll.
Right, let's make this baby. What's the difficulty?
4? No, 3.
3?
Yeah. Okay,
I make it.
Okay, good. Now give me a grace roll because you're going to fall in the pit.
Piece of cake. That's a 5. Please tell me what's less than a 5.
You jump on it and bounce off. So you do this nice little, like a hip-hop move. Bam! And jump back again.
Mm-hmm.
You break it. The shards of wood fall in, narrowly missing the the head of Colin's monster as it's dragging him out the passageway it came through. You guys see a large shambling shape moving down a side hallway that comes off of the pit below.
Can I go after it?
Sure. You got to drop down 10 feet into what looks like 2 feet of water.
I'm going to drop down and shoot at the same time.
Okay, you're not going to do it quite at the same time, but we're going to have you drop down. And what's Gareth doing?
I think I'm going to be going down.
You could both drop down at once if you want.
I might use my jump jets to get over the pit and then just cut the jump jets to drop down all nice Iron Man style.
Nice. Okay. So, Jonathan, you hit the bottom. You're standing in about 2 feet of water. There's this open doorway leading down a passageway with this big shambling creature in it. You're about to take a shot as Gareth comes sort of hovering down beside you. And the thing that you see, it's purple reptilian skin with the sort of the overall shape and physiognomy of an ape. It's carrying Colin like fireman style. It's got him over one shoulder. Colin seems to be unconscious. Jonathan, there's a chance you might hit Colin if you take this shot.
But that's the kind of risk I like to take.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm sorry, Colin, but I'm super confident in my abilities that I'm not gonna roll 3 1s. I'm totally gonna roll 3 1s now and kill you. I'm sorry. I
And
am
he's like,
sorry.
it's just Colin.
It's fine.
All
Fine.
right. You want to beat a 3 here, but you've got a +3 just from your skill and your gun.
Yeah.
So unless you roll 3 1s, yeah, you're gonna make this shot.
Okay, first dice. It's a 1.
Oh, I love it. He's doing it one at a time for the drama.
Second dice. It's a 5. Third
Ah.
dice. It's a 2.
There's your shot. Okay, so you hit this thing in the middle of its back. It lets out a weird click, a series of clicks, and falls to its knees. Colin, you're still conscious. What are you doing? As it falls to its knees, your feet hit the floor.
I mean, am I conscious to the point where I can like physically move, or am I just kind of like in a sedated state?
You are powerfully inebriated.
Okay.
I would say walking a straight line would require a grace roll.
I'm just gonna, as soon as my feet hit the floor, I'm gonna kind of try to spring up, maybe like, kind of overcorrect my balance, and I'm gonna, kind of almost like dance around on my feet, trying to regain some semblance of balance. And I'm gonna kind of swing wildly and look around, and as soon as I see this shape, on the ground, I'm gonna back away from it.
Okay, and Gara, you are now in position to.
Well, I would have shot the critter, but that seems to have been taken care of.
Well, it doesn't seem dead. It's on its knees now.
Okay, well then I can take a shot at it too.
Just beat a 1.
Success.
It's taken a second hit, and now it falls over further. It's holding itself up on all fours at this moment, and you hear a whole other series of clicks and that weird whistling clicking noise that it makes coming from the other end of the hallway. Sounds like maybe half a dozen of them. They're coming this way. Oh, and their feet make this weird wet flip-flopping sound when they walk. You can hear like half a dozen of them coming this way quickly.
Time to go. Grab him. Let's get to the exit. Let's get back up there.
Can I use my jump jets to jump back out of the pit with Colin?
You can. It's going to be a might roll, but you get a +2 on it. You want to beat a 3, a 4, because you're carrying it.
Just don't roll 2 1s. Problem solved.
Success.
All right.
Sweet.
Carrying your buddy, you're up out of the hole, and Jonathan, you're going to stand out of the way a little bit and let them go out first.
Yeah.
You do see 6 more of these creatures coming down the passageway. They're now less than 10. The closest one is less than 10 feet from you.
Only 6.
Got its
As
mouth
soon as I'm out
open
of
wide.
as soon as I'm out of the pit and Colin's on the ground, or at least not in the pit, I'll take that 10-foot rubbery pole and stick it down in the hole for Mr. Jonathan to grab onto.
I'm gonna go.
That is
All
good.
up. Do hurry.
That is good. Yeah, Jonathan, give me a grace roll, DL3.
And
Climb
a
up the
3.
hole. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, you're up and out of the hole again. Colin, you can barely stand. The guys down below, they do not follow you.
Whew.
Yay.
All right. Now, I'm pretty sure the people on this planet weren't supposed to be advanced enough to make metal doors that open and close like that. Surely.
Was it metal? I thought he said it was wood.
I think it was a mix of wood and metal.
What appeared to you from above, it was in fact wood. The top of it was wood. But once you got down inside, there is a metal track that it slid on, and Gareth is quite correct. From what the announcer said before, the people here that they call the Zudians are supposed to be a debased galactic hominid with like Stone Age level technology. There's no way they could have built this trap themselves.
So who built this trap?
You think Team Malbicho might have left a surprise for us?
Even if they did build a trap, then they're well ahead of us, and there's no way we can catch up.
They're a
If
bunch
they
of
have
dicks,
time to
actually.
sit around and build something like this.
I don't know who did this.
How long does it really take to dig a hole and throw a lid on it?
Let me,
Long enough to make a camouflage around the edge so no one knows it's around there, and also make a metal track.
How long would it take you to do that? The camouflage,
well-
I mean.
2 hours.
Either way, if it is them, then they're well ahead of us and we've already lost.
probably a couple hours. And now, by the way, Colin, the effects of the drug are not cognitive. It's your mental capabilities are fine, but it's kind of like you've had a stroke, and it's really hard to make your muscles do what you want them to do.
Okay.
You are going to be at a -1 on all grace rolls until this wears off.
Okay.
You're only mostly dead.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly dead.
You'll be fine. Right, let's keep going then.
Okay, so you come up on the other side of the pit, so you can continue moving down the path.
Makes sense?
All right.
We've got to hurry. We're running out of time.
Yeah, you do. You've got hours to make up for this day, or at least an hour. This has probably derailed you a little bit.
Yeah. Let's double time it.
Double timing through the forest is tricky.
If I lead,
I can barely single time it, let alone
Actually, you're right.
double.
Barely move. We're gonna have to go normal. We'll have to go a slow pace.
My feet are like lead, you know.
We can take turns fireman carrying him.
All right.
No,
The next
exhaust
couple
us.
hours. The next couple hours go without incident, and the drug is starting to wear off. You get the feeling by the end of the day, Colin, you'll probably be back to normal again.
Okay.
And as it gets time for you to start thinking about where you're going to make your next camp, you've come up on the side of another one of those big pools. This one has a river flowing into it, but flowing is the wrong word. It's kind of oozing into it. That terrible smell happens again. You're going to have to figure out a way to cross this river. It's about 50 feet across.
Can we swing from the trees?
There are
Only if
vines
you yell.
available, and those rubbery branches.
Could
do
we
it.
go up to the canopy on the ship and then cross on the canopy? Because it sounded like the canopy was dense enough that it could almost be traveled over.
I think that's also a good idea. Let's do it.
In
Or I
most
guess we
places, the
could just-
canopy can be traveled over. Yeah.
Well, it's worth a shot till we fall. Then it's gonna suck. And it's not the fall that's gonna suck, it's a sudden stop at the bottom.
Well, at least you
I'm
fall
sure.
into weird oily goo and not the ground. So at least you won't die for at least a whole extra second.
Until
That's
something
good to know.
bites.
That's good to know. That just like warms my heart.
Why are you so negative all the time?
I'm not negative, mostly.
It's just
The
heavily
main
drugged.
camera comes swinging back into view, and you hear Duncan Helios's voice, and he's saying, "Perhaps what's got him a little upset is his sudden recognition of the game rules, which states that you must cross all obstacles on the jungle floor, or on the planet's surface, rather. This means that you may not use the ship to cross the river. You have to get the ship across the river, but you may not travel in it while doing so. That would be unfair, because you can't take advantage of atmospheric flight to cross a ground obstacle.
Makes
One
sense.
I hate
Garrett's still
rules.
going to facepalm.
Well, that makes sense to us. But that doesn't stop us from doing our canopy trick, surely. Does it?
You do have vines and rubbery branches available, and also, I think we have to assume that any survival kit is going to have a good length of rope in it. So you've got ropes and maybe a grappling hook, vines. You do have several options here.
Well, let's try swinging across first, and then we'll hopefully not all fall in, and we'll worry about it later.
Right.
You're going to grab onto one of those vines you see, or are you going to
Yeah,
shoot
I'll
one
do that.
grappling
I'll
hook?
grab one of the vines, give it a good tug, make sure it's all right.
It might be faster.
Turn into a snake
quickly-
halfway through me swinging across.
It wouldn't be
Okay.
faster. It might be safer to quickly lash together a raft and kind of pole our way across.
I don't think I want to be anywhere near as close to the water as you think I might want to be. Also, we don't have time to build a raft.
Depends on the raft. Then we can try swinging across. Worst case scenario, we're just one dice roll from taking a bath.
Right.
I'll go first.
This is going to be a grace roll. I'm going to let you add your survival skill to it, and you're beating a 4.
Unfortunately, I don't have a survival skill because I lost my survival kit.
Hmm.
But I need it anyway. Got a 4.
Woohoo!
Look at him swing across that sucker. Oh, that was a hit exactly.
Yeah.
That's a yes, but, and I once again don't want to take your gun. I'm going to roll a random mishap.
Thank you for not taking my one thing I have away. Otherwise, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm just going to sit here and watch you all go on.
You lost a boot.
Nice. It fell as you swung across.
Yep.
But I just got those of a crocodile.
You drop your gun. It's the water is thick, so it hasn't sunk yet. Somebody better grab that quick.
Can I backswing grab it from the ground?
Now you've made it to the other side, and you're safe there, but the gun is halfway back. Somebody else has to do it, I think, because it's going to sink like in seconds.
Would it be possible for me to reach it with my jump jets and continue on to the other side?
I think you could if you give me a grace roll, and let's call that a DL3.
Success.
Okay,
Yay.
so you basically jump, but while you're jumping, you reach down, scoop up the gun just as it's about to sink underwater, and continue your jump to the other side. So now you and Jonathan are both on the other side. The gun has got this smelly, gross water on it now.
I'd check it at
Not too happy
John.
about that.
He can clean it off.
Well, that's 2. One more to go.
Yep, I'm gonna try to make my way across, see how it goes.
Okay. Now, this is going to be tough for you. This is a grace roll. You're at -1 on grace.
Right.
But I will give you your survival skill, which balances it out. You need to beat a 3, and I mean beat.
I got a 6 before modifier.
Oh, wow, you actually get an experience point. Tell me how awesome that looked when you hit it.
So as I swing across, I leap off the branch. I'm holding onto this rubbery vine as it goes across, and I'm actually like hand over hand bringing myself up the vine so as not to even get remotely close to the surface of the muck. And I swing over, and there's the outcropping of land where the other guys have landed. I decide I am going to employ my my deft skills here, and I am actually going as the vine swings. I'm actually kind of at the apex of the swing on the upswing. I'm going to actually flip backwards and land on my feet and go ta-da!
Now, there's some good television. And there's one other thing that happens. As you're doing that backflip, your eye catches a glint of something not too far from where John landed, but sort of covered by a bush so that it couldn't be seen from where John or Gareth was standing. Looks like a metal box. Very modern manufacturer.
Okay.
With the Hyper Survive logo on it. It's just behind John. It's hidden behind that bush, right behind where John is standing. Now, having seen the show before, you know that there are sometimes little packages that you can find out there which might give you an advantage against the environment.
Right.
You found a one-up.
Looks like you found one.
Hey, John, get out of the way, John. Get out of the way. Hold on.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Hey, look at this. Look at this, and I'll kind of clear the box off.
There it is, the metal case with the Hyper Survive logo on there. And when you open it up, there are 3 little 1-dose ampules of Zoom Zoom. Now, this is a non-addictive amphetamine, which will allow you to go 24 hours without sleeping.
Oh,
How
very
many?
cool. We could definitely use that.
It's no dose.
Yep.
Guys, this is a huge deal. Should we or should we not pop this and catch up to the guys today?
We need to catch up. We're already hours behind.
What's the downside of this pill?
If you fail a health roll against DL4, you'll be at -1 psyche. It'll be hard to concentrate, and I'll give you a negative on anything that requires like intense thinking and cognitive judgment.
Is it worth the risk?
Sure it is. It's all about winning, right?
Yeah, you're right. Let's do it.
All right, everybody,
Go, start walking.
this is a health roll, beat 4.
Oh boy. 2 dice.
Does survival play in or no?
Since yours is health based, I'm going to say yeah.
Okay. I got a 6 without it anyways.
Natural 6. Not succeeded.
And sorry, Tesla? Is that a success or fail?
For Gareth, I guess he's just going to be super hyper for the rest of the evening.
Ooh. Okay, well, this is a great equalizer. So Gareth is now sort of jittery and paranoid, and sooner or later he is going to have to sleep. But the other two don't have to sleep.
It's awesome.
Right, let's start walking.
Let's move.
Maybe at some point one of you can switch suits with Gareth and then carry him.
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Right, within the next couple hours, Gareth is going to be tired and need to sleep, and you guys are going to be like nowhere near tired.
Assuming asses are interchangeable.
Yeah, it's a one-size-fits-all ass.
Sweet.
I'm not sure how comfortable I am about somebody else climbing into my ass.
You don't feel real comfortable right now at all, Gareth. You feel kind of itchy. You're like scratching yourself, and little shadows are making you jump.
You've got to get some sleep, man. Can we not put a suit in like natural walk mode so you can sleep in it while it's walking?
Well, that would be a great idea.
That would be
you
awesome.
should admit that when you get back to Earth, but the suit doesn't do that right now.
Damn it.
Well, let's do it then. Gareth needs to sleep, but I can't carry you away wearing that suit.
Gareth can just kind of refuse to sleep and just go ahead and take, negative modifiers as he pushes on through it.
That's probably what he would do.
You've got at least 12 hours still ahead of you. I mean, you're like halfway there.
Wow.
I'm sure Gareth is used to many sleepless nights.
All right. So now we've got Colin at a neg-1 still from the drug. I'm going to say Gareth is at a neg-1 grace because he's growing really tired, and he's also at a neg-1 psyche because he's kind of jittery and jumpy. Right now, Jonathan, you're the only one who's 100%.
Yeah! I'm pumped with these drugs! Who said drugs are bad for you kids? Who said that?
You feel great as you move on through the forest.
Take the lead. We've got to catch up.
All right, and as our contestants move through the forest on the last leg of their journey, the Johns, will they make it to base camp? We break for one more commercial message from our sponsor. And you see a flashy logo and an Australian dude with a big blonde head of long hair, and he's saying, "Hi, I'm Kip Kiln, and it's time for Kill or Be Killed. I'm the hunter that's going to show you how to survive the most dangerous environments. I've been everywhere. I've killed everything. My show is for you, coming up on Mega Media." And then the logo comes up. This guy is like, you guys all hate him. His name is Kip Kill, Khil, and he fancies himself the survivalist stuff. But you've heard rumors that he actually sets up all of his bits, and his camera crew does all these camera tricks to make him look more like bold and adventurous than he really is. So you guys hate this guy, but apparently he just got his own show on his channel.
He's probably never even drunk his own piss.
I know, right? What a loser.
But his hair looks fabulous. You do have to give him that.
Someday I'm going to shave his head.
I think that'd be a great idea to do it for charity.
I love it. And we come back from commercial break just in time to catch Colin saying, someday I'm going to shave his head.
Yeah! Badass!
Let's press on through the forest. We're having, like, two of you are feeling really wiped and not yourself. But Jonathan is feeling great. Oh, you know what? Now, your gun is covered in gunk, and we also had a problem with Colin's gun. It might be a good idea to stop, strip, and clean your weapons.
I'm
can't. Sorry, I know you're behind schedule. I know you're behind schedule, but right now Colin's gun is inoperable.
Can we try and patch it up while we walk?
Is that something I'd be able to apply my mechanics or electronics to?
Oh, mechanics would, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you can try to fix it. I mean, I'm a scientist. I'm not a mechanical guy, but you know.
If only we had someone who's a professional tinkerer.
Yeah, if only.
It looks like my highest is a 7.
This isn't very hard. Yeah, it's just a 2, maybe a 3. Okay, so what that means is, like, you strip and clean and put the gun back together again. You actually put it together in such a way that you managed to clean the... Maybe he hasn't cleaned the action in a long, long time.
That would make sense.
Now it's got like more of a hair trigger on it. It feels better. It feels better when you get it back than it did when you handed it to him, Colin.
That is awesome. You are impressive, my friend.
You're welcome. Now coffee.
John, you should have him clean your gun. He's good.
About 3 hours later, Gareth, let me see. Give me a health roll versus GL3.
Hang in there, Gareth.
It looks like probably not a success. Yeah.
Okay, Gareth, you're starting to fade. You don't think you can stay awake much longer.
Doing the head bounce.
On the plus side, Colin, the drug is worn off. You're back at full grace again.
Has my drug worn off?
Jonathan, were you drugged?
Oh no, I wasn't drugged. I took the drugs.
He took the caffeine.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the fang bite.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so Colin is no longer under the effect of the muscle relaxant.
So now we've got a problem. Gareth is passing out.
Gareth
both of us are ready to go. How far do you have to go?
You probably have at least 4 hours left to go, and Gareth is like walking into trees.
Christ.
We've got to make those last 4 hours, but he can't last.
He's got to last. I'm going to smack him in the face. Wake up, boy.
He's wearing metal armor.
I'm up.
Come on,
stay away. We're not going to make it if we don't do something.
Would I have... Is it possible I could have something in, like, a stimulant of some sort in my Science Pro kit?
Just to keep
archaeology and geology. Yeah, I don't think that really works for archaeology and geology. I think your survival kit might have something.
I don't have a kit. The only one I have is the science kit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, his survival suit might have like stimulants, right?
It had some sort of medical function, I think.
Yeah, you know what? If you turn on the medical system in the suit, that'll keep your body in alert status. It'll be draining power from your suit, but you only got 4 hours to go.
Yeah,
Makes
it's
sense.
worth it. And if we don't make those 4 hours, we don't make those 4 hours. You could just rest and sleep then.
Yeah, I'm going to rule that you can do that at least for a limited period. I'm still going to give you the -1 grace because I have to take something.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's fair.
But until something comes along, I'll have you move at full speed. We have 4 hours left. We've gone through the darkest part of the jungle. It's now getting to the point where you can see more light ahead of you. You only have a couple miles to go to make it out of here. 1 hour goes by. The second hour, something happens.
No, it's so close.
The second hour, up ahead of you, way in the foggy distance, you can barely make out one of those tall, ape-like figures. Again, standing directly in the path, looking straight at you guys.
All right, John. Waste it.
Sorry, dude. I'm gonna fire a warning shot because I don't know how many of them there are.
You fire a warning shot into the air. It takes off and runs behind the trees. It's gone.
Thought as much. Normally, I'd be all about hunting these creatures, but I already killed one. It was quite boring. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Grumble, grumble, coffee.
As you come toward the edge of the outer edge of the forest, you can see up ahead of you some more lava lands, which lead upward, and you know that the base camp is going to be on top of the hill. So you're pretty sure you're moving in the right direction. Way in the distance behind you, you hear a bunch of chattering and clicking noises. Sounds like that ape man must have gone back to his group, and they're chattering amongst themselves. They're not far away.
All right.
You make it past that area without encounter. Just as you're nearing the edge of the forest, up ahead of you, there's a wide clearing. On the other side of that clearing, a large reptilian head sticks its head out from the bushes on the other side. It's one of those long neck creatures, and it's looking around.
Oh, God, no, we're so close. We've got to avoid it. Can we not go around it?
It's standing directly in the most convenient way for you to go. There's a clearing that opens out to the lava behind you, and it's poking its head in from the other side of the clearing. I don't mean behind you, I mean behind it. So you really want to get directly past this thing. And the way that it's looking around, it seems to have caught scent of you, but it hasn't seen you yet.
Okay. I'm setting my gun to maximum kill, and I'm going to take a shot. Sometimes you have to go big or go home. If I can hit it in the head really, really hard, I might take it out in a hit.
I just like to imagine that you've got like this cartoonish dial on the side of the gun, and like on one side it says tickle, and on the other side it says maximum kill.
All right. Let's see here. It is far away, mostly obscured, but very large. I'm going to give you all of your skill and your gun mods and a -1.
Cool.
You're trying to beat a 6.
Oh boy. Go big or go home, boys. This is it. First dice.
1.
It's a 1.
I love how the first die is always a 1.
Okay. Second dice is a 5, which is a 6-7, so I beat it by 1.
Close. If that's your best roll, this will be a no but.
Yeah,
Second roll is a 6.
Ha! There you go. You hit the thing in the head. Now, the very motion of you pulling the trigger alerts it to you. So at the same moment it turns its head to bear straight upon you, it takes a shot in the left side of its jaw. And that really, really makes it angry.
Okay, well, that was the opposite of it. But close to hit. Still hit.
I will give you 1 experience point, though, for pulling off the shot because I didn't think you were going to hit it. And everybody now gets to roll because you have an angry long neck that's about to charge you from across this clearing. Everybody's rolling.
Oh, good, because it's taken sweet time to get here. I have a clear shot at it. I'm just going to keep shooting it till it dies. Hopefully I'll get it before it gets to us.
everybody's guns are out, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Sun's out, guns out.
I got a
Dude, he's
6
coming-
total.
I've got an 8 here.
Shit.
Do I have all my pluses?
Yeah.
I've got an 8. I got
I've
two
got
8s.
a 9.
Nice. Okay, so that means Gareth and Jonathan are both going to get shots off into the thing, both successful hits, while the thing comes charging at Gareth. Gareth, you're the one chosen.
Well, good thing you can fly.
Yeah.
Better you than me.
Fly into a tree.
Okay, so what happens here is the thing comes charging across. It's bearing down on Gareth. Both of you guys get shots off. You manage to hit it in its massively long neck, which causes it to stumble. As it stumbles, the neck hits the ground. The head hits the ground just a foot or two from where Colin is standing, knocks Colin on his ass. Colin, you're on the ground. You do not get a shot this round, but the thing has stumbled, and it's within feet of you. No one's taken any damage yet, and it's a new frame. Here we go. What's everybody doing?
I bang, 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 bang.
Right? Okay.
Bang, 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 bang.
I think I might like to try using my jump jets to fly onto the top of its head while bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
I only got
now,
a 5, 6, 7, 8 this time.
I've got a 5, and the most important roll here is Colin's, because if you don't beat my 5, you've been bit.
Colin,
All right.
jump!
I'm trying to scramble away from this thing from squishing me. So here we go. Grace roll. Ooh, shit.
That was not a 5, Colin. That was not a 5, Colin.
No, that's not a 5.
That was not a 5. Colin, its head hit the ground right next to you. You scramble to get up, and it chomps on the nearest thing to it, which is your left leg.
Oh, badass.
It's okay, I'll build you a new one.
Yeah, these giant teeth have now crushed the bone in your left thigh. You will not be able to walk at normal speed, and you've taken one hit from Grace.
All right. Got it.
All right. Jonathan and Gareth, Colin's leg is in this thing's mouth. I imagine you're shooting.
Yeah.
You both hit me, which means one body shot. Oh, one headshot. That's good. 2 more hits. The thing is not yet unconscious. We have a new frame beginning, and the frame begins with Colin's leg in its mouth.
Was I able to move on top of its head?
What was your roll?
Looks like a 6.
Yeah, I'll put you on top of its head, or close enough to be looking down at it.
Oh, nope.
Actually, jump jets, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
directly on top. You're directly above its head, using the jump jets. Okay, so that means I'm going to give you a +2 on this shot,
Nice.
and let's see what everybody's rolling. Colin, you're not unconscious yet. It's
Okay.
just your leg hurts a whole lot, so you can still fire this round. I'm going to give you a +2 because it's right there.
Hey, can I get close enough to jam my gun, like, under his throat? Like, near, but not underneath the leg. So I can shoot it from up there. Just, like, jam it right in there. Go, just like, unleash my payload?
Not at this moment, because the one guy is directly underneath it, right, being bitten by it. The other guy has used the jump jets to get into position. You're actually the furthest from it right now.
That's fair. And I guess I'll just go on my knees and start shooting.
Right. Okay, so I have rolled a 5 as the number you want to beat.
I got it. I got an 8.
I've got 2 7s.
Colin, as it opens its mouth in preparation for another bite, you manage to pull back and scramble away from the thing while also squeezing off a shot.
Nice.
Gareth, I heard 2 7s.
Yep.
That's also a hit. And Jonathan?
I got an 8.
That is also a hit. As Colin scrambles away from the thing, you guys put a few more holes in its head, and it is unconscious.
Yay! Woo! But I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Right, I'll rush on over to him, see if I can't like see his legs. Like, how bad is the bleeding? Is he completely out?
There's a chorus of weird screams and whistles as birds and flying creatures flee this area, by the way.
Oh no.
With the sound of your guns and... No, it's you guys they're fleeing.
Whew.
Oh, whew. I
I'll
thought
bring
they
the
were.
duct tape over to Colin.
No, those big boom sounds, those aren't common around here.
That's alright then. I was a little bit worried.
You're the scariest thing in the jungle now.
Heck yeah.
Maybe
Hoorah.
they should be scared of us.
Damn straight.
I'm tired of being scared of them.
Go ram it.
All right, so this thing is unconscious but still breathing. What do we do?
I think we probably patch up Colin's leg.
I think Patrick and then we go to the camera. Hey, can you guys tag this for when we get out so you can get someone to come pick it up? Because technically it's still alive. We can still take it home.
Yeah, you don't know how long it's going to be before it wakes up.
Yeah. So if the camera's still rolling and it's alive when we get up there, I'd really like to request the ship to take it home. Just a heads up.
You know what? I don't even know what to say to that.
You should say that is one hell of a fine idea.
The Jonopod is all yours.
Duncan says, let's leave that question for the winners.
Oh damn!
To the winners.
Right, patch him up. We need to.
God, hasn't Duncan figured this out yet? Game show host. Sheesh.
It's the hair.
And as we near the last leg of our mission, I just wanted to remind you one last time that this show is brought to you by Body Nanny, the nanotech solution that fucking loves toxins. Eat like a pig, live like an idiot with Body Nanny.
Last leg, huh? No pun intended, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, speaking of last leg, here's an option that you have. The suit has a emergency medical systems in it. So if you were to put Colin in the suit and turn on those systems, he would be fine in 1 hour. But you'd have to sit here for 1 hour because you can't move while that's going on. That's your dilemma.
If we wait an hour and then put him in the suit, would it still be effective?
It's just okay. You're moving real slow right now because one of you is like falling asleep, and the other one is got a broken femur. So you're not going to make very good time. You've got like 4 hours left to go, but you're moving at probably half speed right now.
Well, we had 4 hours and then we moved for 2 hours.
That's true. You've got 2 hours left to go.
Yeah.
So we have no choice but to wait it out. Because if we don't, if we try moving up the hill, we're going way slower than we would be if we waited an hour for you to get in that.
So we'll put Colin in the suit and I'll take a nap.
I'm gonna try to leave like a new ass divot in the padding in the suit for you. Because I'm that kind of friend and teammate.
At this moment, by the way, you hear loud gunfire from completely on the other side of the hill, nowhere near you. It gives you the idea that Team Malbicho is about as far from base camp as you are on the other side.
We're not going to make it. But we don't have a choice. We've got to put you in the suit.
Can I, once I'm in the suit, can I like move in the suit like normally with the aid of the suit?
Once you undergo 1 hour, your body will be at full health again, and you'll be able to use the suit's servo mechanisms, if you wanted, to literally carry Gareth the rest of the way.
But it has to be stationary while it's doing the medical work, right?
Right, you have to be stationary for 1 hour, and then you could carry him the whole rest of the way.
Look, okay, this is risky, but Colin, we've worked together for so long, and I want this win more than anything else, but it's not worth risking your life. Wear the suit for an hour. If we lose, fine, we lose. We lost to a better man. I get it. It's fine. But I'm not going to let you die like this. We're friends. You're practically family to me.
Colin has like little tears in his eyes. His eyes start to kind of get all moist, and he's like, the little drone camera pops in, and Colin kind of turns his head, and the drone follows, and Colin kind of does like this. It's been a long time since anybody said they'd love me like family. And he whimpers, sniffles, finishes donning the suit, like the headpiece of the suit, and
Oh, that's beautiful. And the violin music replaces the rock and roll.
And at some point, the camera cuts to Gareth, and he's already fast asleep behind a bush or something.
he's sawing logs.
And I'm like sitting there, like with my head in my hands, just looking super sad, just thinking, we were so close to winning, but I just couldn't let it happen. I couldn't lose Colin like that. Fine, if we don't win, we don't win. I get it. It's fine. I understand. I respect that. The better team won. But it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. So Gareth is now, there's a shot of Gareth sleeping under a tree, sans suit, and we're strapping Colin into the suit, and we lay there. Let's see what happens for the next hour. Oh, you're lucky. There's no encounters over the next hour. You're
Good. It feels like I can fight an entire army by myself anymore.
The next hour is very boring television, while Jonathan sits there with a sleeping man on one side and a medically disabled man on the other, just sort of weeping into his hands and hoping he hasn't lost the match. Colin,
Actually, this was the most tense thing on TV ever. People are like,
oh, it's going to be really tense when we edit it down to about 30 seconds. And no one wants to watch 60 minutes of it.
Unless we
Colin,
put a rose between your teeth.
Colin, you awaken to some beeping noises. The medical unit is shutting down. You see green lights all across the heads-up display, and a little graph of your body that shows green lights all over. You're good to go.
Woohoo! I thought the thing was going to tell me I was going into like cardiac arrest. I'm going to die in this godforsaken suit on this godforsaken planet. OMG, baby! OMG!
OMG!
This is Prince's planet.
All right, boys. No time to waste. Let's go. Last leg.
That's right. We've got 2 hours to go. We're traveling across the lava lands now. Remember, you got to be careful. You got to use your stick to poke the ground up ahead of you to make sure that you don't step in any of those zones where the ground gives way. And you do this for 1 hour. You see some of the geysers shooting off in the distance. As you near the top of the highest hill in the area, you see a red flag on top of the hill.
There it is, boys.
You do not see the other team. It looks like you're in the lead. We have about 1 hour left to go. You can see it just like half a mile ahead of you as you move as carefully and diligently as you can across this lava. I need grace rolls from all of you.
Am I still at -1 grace, or did my 1 hour nap take care of that?
I'm going to take you back to normal. 1 hour nap will help you, yeah.
Excellent.
Natural 6, so good at 6s on grace. I'm so glad I put 3 points in grace.
Got 5.
Wait, so we got a 5 and a 4.
And a 6.
What was our target number?
It was 4.
7. Fuck you. Oh.
It's Gareth again, who sets off a little bit of a land spill as he touches down. Gareth, I'm going to need a grace roll from you to beat DL3. You've got a +1 because of the suit. +2, sorry. Just don't roll 1, basically.
Success.
Oh, thank
All
God.
right. So this is like a repeat of the scene that happened earlier. You step down, the ground gives way, and you shoot back up again out of this hole.
Or he just engages the jump jets and stays hovering in the same position as the ground just falls off.
And at the top of the hill, just as you guys are reaching, there's this little clear glass dome enclosure with a red flag planted inside it. As you guys get up there, you can look over the other side of the hill. You see 2 men carrying a third who they're sort of dragging between them. He's completely unconscious at the bottom of the hill. You guys beat them by about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
You take the flag. There's a ringing sound. the hover platform comes over, and here's Duncan Helios as he pushes a button on his console. Lights, lasers, and a bunch of confetti comes flying around you, swirling around, and you hear the theme music of the song in your heads. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our winners. The Johns have taken home the prize in tonight's episode of Hyper Survive, traveling across the dangerous Badlands and the dense jungles of the planet Zood, destroying one of the ferocious long-necked carnivores and nearly being wiped out themselves, and the most important blow struck by the emotional interchange between them when we learned that these men, who spend so much time fighting and quarreling, cramped in the tiny confines of their little vessel, do in fact love each other like a family. These are the winners, ladies and gentlemen, of Hyper Survive! How do you feel, the Johns? And he shoves the microphone in your face.
I'm like, for 1 second there, Duncan, I didn't think we were gonna make it. I thought just maybe we might possibly fail this one, but my team pulled through like they always do, and the Johns live to find another day.
Anybody else have anything to say? How do you feel at this wonderful moment, your moment of victory?
Gareth's probably still a bit cranky from all the sleep deprivation.
I'll tell you,
Bring me coffee now.
They won't be so shell-shocked when they get home to find themselves with that $10 million prize and their own chance at a pilot television series right here on Mega Media. Stay tuned. There is no better show coming at you. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and appreciate your viewing. Now, there's just one thing. As the camera swings away, he says, I just wanted to make sure that you guys realize the Malbicho team, these guys are some hard-ass professionals that have won 4 shows before. They had an unbeaten record. He takes you aside and lets you know that these guys are sore losers. You've probably made an enemy here today. But for what it's worth, I was rooting for you guys the whole time.
Sure you were, Duncan. Sure you were.
Well, thanks, Duncan. We appreciate your confidence in our ability to issue the ass whooping to those bastards. And make sure that hits the main cut and not on the cutting room floor.
God damn it, Colin.
Each of you gets 3 experience points for winning the program. I'm going to round up and say 12 mega prize, because you can divide that 3 ways. You get 4 megas each.
Oh man, that's a bit of my debt gone. So good.
Just a teensy tiny dent in my debt.
You said 4 megas each?
Yep.
Debt down to 7 million. Oh yeah. It's gotta win a few more games.
I got no debt.
I think I'm at 58 million?
Oh my god.
I got 5 million surplus, so.
I'm on 7 million debt, but that's because I have a sweet laser gun. And the survivor broke it, I dropped. Fuck. That's $1 million gone.
Now, it turns out, and Duncan did do the research he promised he would do, it turns out that the long necks have been named before, and they're literally called long necks by the first idiot who discovered them. So there's no point in actually bringing the tagged creature back to Earth. However, there is a research institute that's willing to pay 6 megas for the centipede that you brought back in the cargo hold.
Sweet.
So if you wanted to split that, there'd be 2 megas each.
We'll take it.
Down to 5 debt.
And we take you back home again. Do you live together, work together? What's your living arrangement?
And Gareth probably lives on Zune, cramped as it is. I don't know about the other 2.
Well, I probably live in some kind of reserve area for
No. You live in the epitome of the man cave with the animal heads mounted on the wall and shit.
Yeah, like a reserve, like a proper forest or like a savanna or something like that. Like like the tiny bit of Africa that's still Africa and not been completely taken over by the mega corporations.
My background as a scientist says I'm living at a university, so I have like this little like less than bachelor pad in a university dorm
Also,
room.
I actually do live in a cave.
You live in a cage. Holy crap!
Cave?
Well, what I want to know is
Oh, that's a
whose house do you go to when the episode airs and it's time to watch it?
Oh, we're definitely gonna go hang out. My house, of course. Come down to Africa, guys. I got cable down here. It's great.
I thought we were gonna hang out on Sune and drink cocktails.
Actually, you're probably right. Sune is our most like iconic thing, so let's use Sune.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Probably got really nice, really big monitors.
I like
You
that.
bought
So
some
the
new
last,
plush
scene
buckets.
is you guys all cramped in the Sune watching yourselves on the little video monitor, or the little holographic display that pops up.
Oh,
Toasting each other.
just gonna point out. See, this is the bit that Colin cries right here. Wait
Oh,
for it.
he
Wait for it.
dropped
Oh,
out
there
again.
go the tears.
He dropped out of the hangout again. Like right at the climax. Holy crap!
As we're enjoying our popcorn and coffee.
Yeah, we're literally at the end of the game, like sitting there going, job well done. It's like he's gone.
Oh my god, they put me on TV. I'm crying. Oh my god. Somebody give me better. I need a drink, stiff drink. I need coffee.
Oh shit.
I'm sure that's one thing that Sune is amply equipped to provide.
Right.
Nothing but coffee from now on.
Although, for the record, the beer my wife handed me off camera has coffee in it.
That's nice.
It's a stout brewed with coca, coffee, peppers, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg.
Where the hell do you live, Keith, that they sell that?
I live in South Carolina.
That makes sense, okay.
It's by Stone. Wrong way. There we go. Stone Brewing.
Yeah, that's definitely South Carolina. I go to North Carolina a little bit too often in my life.
Well, this is
So-
I think Stone's California, Oregon, something like that. But some of our grocery stores here specialize in like craft beers and stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you got to remember. You got to remind me, Lloyd, when you're coming to North Carolina. So maybe I'll make the ride up there.
I'll make a note. I will be there sometime next year,
Okay.
in the late summer, because I usually do about October, something like that, and it's gonna be North Carolina again. We'll probably do Outer Banks, but I'll have like 1 or 2 days to chill,
Sweet.
so I'll come and say hello. Are you close to Riley, or are you closer to Asheville? Not Asheville. The other one.
I can get to Charlotte in about 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah, that's where I was last time I was at Charlotte.
I can get to Asheville in about 4, a little over 4 hours.
But Riley's too far for you, isn't it?
I don't know. No, I mean nothing's that far. I mean,
It is for a drive to see me.
listen, just because like, if I want to get anywhere, I can drive anywhere I want to be within 8 hours. Just because you can drive across England in like 2.5 hours?
Yes,
That's a long car
definitely
ride
2.5
for you. I'm
hours.
sorry.
2.5 hours is definitely how long it takes to drive to England. You want to know what? Normally that would be a bad thing, but you know what? At least I can go visit my friends and not be like, hey, I live in America. I live in America too. Where do you live? I live in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I
Look at all
look
the space we've got. It's such a big thing. Yeah, I love living away from people and not being able to see anyone for like months on end.
Yeah, I don't like that. Oh wait, that's why I play games on the internet.
Yeah, there's that.
All right, well, we're waiting on him. I think we're pretty much wrapped up with this story, as it were. I'm gonna hit the stop broadcast.
No, you can't listen until he says goodbye. You gotta wait. If
Okay,
anyone is
we'll
actually still watching this, they're gonna be happy to you to wait.
Okay. For all of the viewers, we've had one person pop in for about 65 seconds while we aired.
That's pretty. How did you know for that long?
Because I watched when it said 1, and then it was about 65 or 70 seconds later they were gone. But once I put it on my blog, I don't know how many people will actually come and watch it. I hope a bunch of people watch it. I've enjoyed the game. I've really had a good time playing it.
It's not bad, actually.
I like
I'm
the
a little
narrative.
tired though.
Yeah. It's 5 hours ahead of me, so it's almost 2 in the morning for you?
Yes. I am a little tired.
It's okay,
I
my
remember
friend.
that. I was stationed in Germany for 4 years, and that was always fun with the time difference in the U.S.
Oh, yeah. I didn't spend 4 years in Germany. I spent like 4 months. That was enough for me. I mean, I enjoyed my time there, but...
Damn, son.
Although now I've got the opposite problem. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm 3 hours behind everybody.
Well, if you'd move to the right coast instead of the left coast, you'd be all right.
It's not so bad.
Oh, you guys.
I got family that lives out in California, so I give them a rash of shit for living out there too. You know, like I said, Lloyd, I mean, the coast of England on one side and the coast on the other is a very easy drive. It only takes, like, what, 3 days to drive across the U.S.
I love how you think that's a good thing. I love that. I love how you think, oh, man, it takes so long to drive across the U.S. I'm like, well, you know, technically I have family in Europe that I have to fly to go see.
Right.
So technically, that's what you want to remember that. If
like,
your country's so big,
like me going to see family in California is like you having to fly to like Germany.
Except that it's an actual country, not just me going down the road to see my friends.
Yeah, right. You're the classic world traveler, popping in and out of different countries as you go. I can travel, you know, forever in the U.S. and never like leave the U.S. It's kind of disturbing.
That's just so wrong.
I know.
It just
But plus
depends on
side, the US has everything you ever wanted in a go. It's like you don't need to ever leave the US. You can experience everything you have in the US, outside the world in the US, if you know where to look. Cold areas, hot areas, sunny
Fair
areas,
enough.
dry areas, wet areas, farmland.
Fair enough.
New Hampshire is still my favorite place in America.
I like New Hampshire. I lived there for a period of time. I'm from the New England area originally, so
Coolies.
yeah.
The cultures are fairly different across the U.S., at least in my experience, and there are some terrains that are almost like the Grand Prairie is almost unique to the U.S. It's not something that really has any equivalents that I'm aware of on other continents.
No, there's a lot of Europe that you can't find it. Not necessarily like land areas, but just culturally you can't find equivalents here. You know, so I mean, it's everywhere's kind of unique unto itself.
Pretty much.
So I mean, I haven't spent a whole lot of time in Europe, but I've enjoyed the places I've gone with the military, and then, you know, I've happened to go to Middle East. That was not my most favorite place to go. But does that qualify me as a world traveler? I don't know.
I say nothing.
I think if you've set foot on 2, maybe 3 different land masses, possibly continents, but I'll go with land masses because that's a little easier to define, you're probably classified as a world traveler.
Yeah, I've hit 3 continents, so I guess that classifies as a world traveler.
I think that's fair. For now. Only for now.
What's that, Lloyd?
I said for now, it's fair.
Okay. Is he gonna make it back?
I don't think he is. I think he's dead now. I'm sorry. I loved you too. Goodbye. We will miss you so much.
Did
Whatever
we
your
run off our
actual
game
name is.
master? This is gonna reflect in my blog post follow-up. My follow-up blog post.
How dare you sign off after the game was finished? What were you
We
thinking?
weren't even done, and you ran off. We're like right at the climax, the last narrative bit, and he runs away like a little schoolgirl.
Middle of the denouement.
That's it. This is going to reflect negatively in my follow-up blog post. That's all there is to it. Let me bring up the blog post.
Start typing away.
Oh, there he is. He's
Oh,
back.
now he's back.
made
I
it.
talk shit and he shows up. That's great.
Oh, that was a long one.
we thought you ran away like a scared schoolgirl.
I was like, God, that is the worst possible moment. I'm like saying the last sentence of the show.
We
Yeah,
waited
that's
for
pretty man
You
came
get the
back.
idea. You all make it home. You have a nice little family reunion, sitting in the ship, watching the holovids of yourself. And if we ever decide to get together and play again, the very first thing I'm going to ask you guys is like, what do you want to do with your show? Because now you have the ability to make up your own idea for a TV show, and that could be the very next episode that we do. What do you think about that?
That is awesome.
like
I love that idea.
We could do like a slip trick. Fit Sune out with some nice sensor gear and just start wandering through dimensions.
That's very Star Trek-ish.
And slip trick.
I like it. I like it. But we need to find like old ancient civilizations, things that we can bring back to Earth in 2100.
Okay, well here's something for you, Colin. This probably sticks in your craw a little bit because you know that those Purple Ape men couldn't have made that trap. Somebody
I know. Oh, I know. It stuck in my head. It jumped out at me like.
Yeah, so like maybe you could go back to the planet Zood, is what I'm saying.
and see what's going on with that.
Yeah.
That was either planted by the show,
That's what I'm thinking.
or there was another civilization there at some point in time.
All right,
Intelligent.
the producers will answer that question. The only things they planted were the supply caches. There were 3 of them. You only found 1.
Fair enough. But still, it's an interesting thing to ponder.
They've
Of course
answered the
I'm going
question.
to do it.
We don't know that they've answered it truthfully.
Fair enough. We don't know that anybody's answered anything truthfully, so
That's
Yep.
true. I got to give you
As long as the
that.
check clears.
as long as I get paid, I don't care. And as long as Colin gets famous, even better.
Oh, geez.
So there you go. I mean, as you can see from the system with the yes ands and the no buts, the whole idea was to provide a really, really, really mechanically simple system to make it easy to just sort of spontaneously improvise and come up with crazy ideas, and then like no matter what weird thing you guys say you want to do, I can easily think of a number for it. It's a small scale. It's easy to work with. There's one rule for everything, right? You use the same kind of die rolls for everything, and that's basically the way that the whole design intent of the game is to allow the GM to do a lot of improv and feed off ideas that come from the players a lot. And I just found that the simpler the system was, the more freedom you have. So I'm trying to go for something that feels a little bit like maybe a little bit traveler-y, a little bit OSR, but at the same time stripping the system down so that it's so simple you can improvise like a son of a bitch.
That's pretty cool.
We'll go with
Yeah. I think it works well.
I liked it. I mean, I liked the high narrative element, where we could contribute to the fiction as much as you were, and to me, that's what I mean. I like mechanics. I like OSR. And I like, depending on the system, I like crunchy to some extent, as long as it's not like a brain burner. But I like being able to contribute to the fiction more than just I swing my sword, or I'm gonna defend. Or I'm going to climb that wall with my rope. I like being able to not just narratively say what I'm doing, but actually interact with the fiction and, maybe change how things go. And that, to me, that's a measure of something that I like. And this game seems to capture that.
Yeah, and you don't want to go too far in that because, like there are some games which the OSR would completely turn their back to because they allow, like for instance, many of the Powered by the Apocalypse World Engine games give the players so much narrative freedom that it's like they're co-GMing, they're inventing whole cultures and sections of the world. And I didn't want to go that far because this is still a trad game. You've got your GM and he does do prep. But I found it a really good compromise, a really good level to put that narrative control at was at the action resolution level. So I'm not giving up, anything the GM feels like, was his design or, anything like that. And the players aren't on the spot to create complex backgrounds and histories and cultures for themselves. So it allows us to get into the game faster. But you are encouraged, to create moments for yourself, where the narrative control is yours for a moment. You're not inventing cultures or backgrounds or anything like that, but that's not what you care about. What you care about is being awesome right now.
Well, I mean, Colin's awesome all the time, so he's like Indiana Jones, so it's okay. He's better than my big game hunting brother-like friend. So, JJ.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I enjoyed the system. I enjoyed the story. I mean, the mechanics became pretty intuitive. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. I mean,
yeah, it's very straightforward. And one thing that it does have in common, I was going to say in common with Apocalypse World, but I think this is probably true of all games, really, that the second time you come back, like if we were to play these characters again, not only do we know you three guys better, but now there's been some plot setup. There's been like, okay, now there's this other group, the Malbicho guys. They're probably, going to show up in your lives again at some point. And there's the idea that you guys now get your own TV show. And what's that going to be about? As we play more, if we continue to play more, I get more psychic content from you guys, right? Like the stuff like about how underneath you really do feel like a family and all, and we can play with that stuff. And it just gets richer as you go. But I also wanted to write something that would allow people to do a one-shot that had an actual ending. So while you guys are moving around on the map, what I'm doing is looking at the clock a lot and making sure that this encounter is bigger than the previous one and that we have an encounter about 15 minutes before I want to end. So I am controlling that arc, but I don't know where you're going to be when that arc happens. I've just got different crises all over the place, waiting for you to stand near one.
Right.
And by building it that way, it enables me to like run a one-shot where we could go on and play these characters again, or we could just say, that was an episode. It had a beginning and a middle and an end, and you guys won, and there's a story.
Yeah, you have the whole arc.
Yeah, I mean, both scenarios are absolutely spot on. It's either a complete one-shot arc, or it's just the absolute beginning of a long campaign type arc.
Yeah. So I know that Keith, you were asking earlier, like there was some stuff that you wanted to see in practice rather than in theory. So I just wanted to kind of point that out a little bit. I mean, one of the things that DayTrippers does that I haven't seen another game do is just openly tell the GM, yeah, you're controlling the arc here. That's your job. It's not your job to tell the players where they're going. They'll tell you that because, that would be railroading.
Right.
But it's not railroading if you let them drive while you increase and decrease the tension. It's sort of a compromise, right? Together, you and the players are building a railroad as you go, but nobody knows where it's going to end up.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the two things I really wanted to see in practice and why I asked you to run this game was...
Fireballs.
Fireballs?
Fireball?
Yeah. I wanted
Fireballs
to...
and guns. Lots of guns. Guns solve everything. I'm a real American.
Oh, Lloyd, funny man. No, I wanted to see... I needed an excuse to build a character. I mean, I could build a character, but unless I know, kind of like what we did, some of the pre-game kind of banter about ideas, fictional ideas really helped me kind of develop my character some. So I wanted to see that in practice, and I had, I had some questions about it, that one particular sticking area with life-shaping events, but the other thing I wanted to see is I wanted to see how the character points I spent to buy stat points or skills or converted to megas to buy equipment actually translated into how the dice worked. Mm-hmm. So, and I was able to see both of those in pretty clear detail. I mean, we knew what you gave us a target number. We needed to beat a target number. Sometimes you told us, sometimes you didn't. It was nice.
I think the game was okay, but I'm not a big fan of point-buy systems where the numbers escalate to the godlike level that they are, where it goes, hey, 1 point to 2 to 3 is 5, cool. Next one's 15, cool. Next one's 40, cool. Next one's 100. I'm like, wait, what? Hang on,
Yeah.
hang on.
Yeah.
What exponent are you using for this?
Well, on
But-
the other end of that, like if you invest in your, to use the D&D term, your attribute, up to a 2, you've practically doubled your chances of succeeding. But I think it actually escalates even further. It seems like if you've got a 3 in an attribute, you're almost will positively succeed on one of those
Yeah,
three
you
dice.
probably will. You'll notice if you have the GM's guide or on the screen. I've got a place where I broke down the actual percentage odds of beating the roll for every combination of 1d6 plus 1 up to 6 and 2d6 plus 1 up to 6 and all
Now,
that.
this is fine. I'm with you on this one, even though I still think the exponent on it is ridiculous. But it's nowhere near as harsh as buying skills. I thought you would buy you spend less points in like your brains and stuff like that, and a lot more points on having a good set of skills. But skills cost a shit ton.
Well, the
Compared
reason
to
is,
like
if you
stats.
think about it, see, like Tesla just pointed out that the costs for skills and stats are actually based on the mathematical odds that you're buying. And because this is a game with a very limited scale, right, 1 to 6 and 1 to 10, the difference between a 1 and a 2 is big. It's big. So, it's like instead of having 20 different slightly gradated levels of, like, am I a rogue, an apprentice, a master, whatever the fuck all the different levels are called. Here, there's basically only 6 levels you can be, and the difference between them is huge.
Now, I'm with you on this one, but
Oh, and also the pluses, which is a skill, for instance, help you a lot more than having an extra die. Think about that.
there's my issue.
That makes sense.
Is that you basically tell people, look, no matter what you do, make sure you put 2 points in everything because it costs you nothing. So everyone's already starting with at least 5, 10, like 20 points spent in skills to put everything to a 2. And that's not me saying that I'm spending from 2 to 3. So you're already starting with 2 already. So why have that be like the base start? Why not start everyone at 2?
Well,
And then go up
I can't
from there.
speak for other players, but I really only put points into grace and brains. The only other thing I have that's a 2 is health, and that was just from the class advance. And I spent at least as many points raising skills as I did on attributes, and that's largely just because of how I figured I'd wind up playing Gareth. Most of his stuff would seem like it would come down to brains or grace.
The scope of the game is human-based, right? So your average human has 1 in all stats. And in theory, there's nothing stopping you from playing a character who has 1 in all of their stats. And you could put all your money into mods. That actually might be a smarter way to go as far as the odds are concerned. The idea is that with only 6 levels of human, right, you go from normal dude on the street, which I wanted to be able to, you guys should be like, when you start out, you're normal people. Kind of normal people.
Kinda, yeah.
I mean, in terms of your stats, right? I wanted you to man on the street. This is not a game where you're superpowered. This is a game where you start off as a normal human with college training or whatever. But I wanted you to ultimately, like after many adventures, the top level is like, you're Jerry Cornelius, right? You're Elric, right? You're galactic in significance.
Fair enough.
That's the difference between level 1 and level 6 in this game, right? It's like the difference
here's the other
between Joe
question.
Schmo who works for a corporation on planet Earth or being a guy with galactic importance.
With the way the XP is giving out, you're probably not going to see a rise in skills until about maybe a year in gaming if you decide to go anything above that, right?
It depends on the adventure that you run. You look at the way that the experience points work out. If you play, for instance, a lot of political, diplomatic, or military missions where there can be whole planets at stake, there can be hundreds of lives at stake, and you'll actually get up to 100 experience points at a time for saving up to 100 lives. If you, evacuate a bunch of people from a city where you know the earthquake is about to strike, or I mean, stuff like this turns you into a hero, and that kind of thing will give you like planetary fame, and that can be then leveraged up to the next level of fame, which is like interplanetary, interstellar fame.
So, can you drop everything down by 10 to make the numbers a bit less, and then give out XP a little bit less to make it fairly even out? Because I don't, I mean, like the way you make money like 1M or 2M, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. It's 1 million, but you're not writing a million on it. It just costs like 10 or like 1 or like 2, and I'm like, I like that. Whereas skills are going up from 5 to 600, and I just feel like it's a big number put. It's like fake inflation put in there just to make the numbers look weird. But that's just the way I look at things. I don't like big numbers in gaming. I've never been a big fan of like experience system where people have XP to like 200,000 levels to get to level 20. Like, why is this even number here?
Yeah, that number, it does bother me a little bit when I look at it, like I'm looking at it as a player. The gap, the number of points that you need to spend to get to that level. I do understand where you're coming from, but I just want to underline that that cost is actually a mathematical measure of the value that +1 is going to be for you mathematically. It's actually worth that much.
One possible not solution, but one possible answer to that might be to cap the skills at 4. Because if your skill is 5 or 6, it seems practically impossible that you're ever going to fail the roll. If you're paying that much into a skill, you're paying to always succeed on that skill, and that seems like
the difficulty level goes up to 10.
Okay.
And there are mods all over the place. So what it means is, as you guys advance, I throw bigger stuff at you, because now your TCV. Now let's look at the other side of that number. If you spent 300 points to get your stats up to where they are, then I can throw a 300-point monster at you. So he's going to come at you with like a +3 in some attack skill instead of a +1. Same thing on the other side, right? So I can throw bigger stuff at you. You're going to be facing stuff with armor. You're going to be taking a -3. By the time you get that big, I can throw stuff at you that's got lots of mods, and we're playing up at the high end now. You've got like a +8, -5, +13, -6. See if you can beat 4. It can get there.
But yeah, Todd's right. I mean, when I read the full core rule book, I mean, there's plus mods and there's minus mods for the different scenarios, the different situations you might find yourself in. So, and that's going to be based on what the pluses and minuses are going to be based on situations that the game master throws you into. So that 10, that say you're reaching for that target goal of hitting a difficulty level of a 10. Even if you're throwing, like my brains are 4, I bought 3 into it. Well, I started with 1, so I bought it up to 3, and then the advanced scientist made it a 4th. So even though I'm throwing 4 dice, and I'm trying to hit a 10, I mean the best I can hope for is a 6. I mean then I got to add modifiers. Either from skills or from situational modifiers. So even though I may have a +2. Because of, I don't know, let's just say 2 skills apply, or a life-shaping event applies, but then, and I roll a 6. One of my dice are a 6, so that's an 8. I don't even hit the target 10 if that's, if it's at the apex of that difficulty track. And then if he hits me with negative modifiers or, conditional things like when I was wounded, I was -1 to my grace rolls. I think that was on 2 different occasions. So,
as someone who plays Burning Will far too much in his life, aka more than once a year, I can tell you now that 6 dice does not guarantee a success on what's called difficulty 3 roll. Tell you that right now. That's not a thing that happens.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, because odds says, it doesn't matter if you're rolling 5d6 trying to get a 3, or 2 or 10. I mean, it's nearly 50-50. It doesn't really matter. There's no guarantee.
And strictly speaking, the odds for each die are only affect that die, right?
Right.
It's common to think of the roll as a mass that has an effect on itself, but it's not really like that. It's really, you're rolling 1 to 6 3 times, and each one has exactly 1 out of 6 odds of rolling.
Yeah, that's the gambler's fallacy of thinking that just because you've rolled a die once, that it's going to get a different response or a different number the next time you roll it.
Each die individually has a 50% chance.
So it's always possible to screw up, and even if you're trying to hit a really low target number, remember you have to not just tie it, but you have to beat it. Because if you just tie it, you get a yes, but you dropped your gun, you're out of ammo, you hurt yourself.
I use the gun as the only thing I'm good at. Well, I guess I'll just sit here and eat popcorn now. Go carry on, guys.
But we use teamwork.
But then again, that gun was the tool. I mean, it was an important thing to have. That +3, a +3 in this game is serious. When you're only rolling 2d6, basically, a +3 is a serious mob.
In other words, that gun should have a name.
Yeah.
It is. It's an elephant laser gun.
I mean, like Vera or
Ellie.
Ellie.
No,
there
if
we
I
go.
name it, it means it has. If I name it, it means I have to love it like a son, and I can't use it out in battle.
Then it
I have
becomes
to
a
call
life
it an
shaper.
elephant laser
Oh,
gun. I have to
you know
detach
what?
it. It's an extension of myself.
There was something that
Such I
Keith
cannot
said a
name
minute ago, talking about life shapers, and it reminded me, if you guys wanted to, and I think this especially applies to Colin and Jonathan, maybe not so much to Gareth, because I don't know how involved he was at the time, but I could see you guys taking a life shaper, like, you love each other like a family underneath it all. Because that could actually affect things later, like, no, I can't let him die, I have to go back into the burning building.
No, you don't. It's fine. Let her die. It's cool. She won't miss you anyway.
I'll bend a new limb. It'll be fine.
You're right. I mean, this would be one of those, as this story concludes, this little arc concludes, would be a good point in time to use some, either to develop that, to kind of define that life-shaping event, or spend experience points in the process of defining that life-shaping.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Often it just happens kind of naturally at the end of the mission because two characters have just been through something together, and so they bonded in some way, or somebody said something that felt like a deep truth was coming out or whatever, and you go, well, hey, that's a life shaper right there. I mean, it sounds like one.
Yeah, man. No, I totally see it. Makes a lot of sense. Now that I've seen the game in operation, in play, had a chance to play it, make a character play it, see how the mechanics, not that they're crazy by any stretch of the imagination in terms of complexity, work, it all comes together.
Yeah,
For me, anyway.
I've got several reviewers who have this, like, this is a game for smart people. This is a game I would recommend for people smarter than me. And like, because I use a lot of big words and scientific concepts, I guess. It's mostly pseudoscience, and you can bullshit your way past it. What I don't want people to think is that this is a really, really crunchy game that you need to be good at math, because it's not.
No,
There's not really any math involved.
Yeah.
I would guess that the sort of on-the-fly narrative storytelling that I think this system revolves around is, in my experience, something that people need to kind of work themselves into. Most people don't seem to, or most of my players that I've come across, don't naturally just gravitate to it right off the bat. If I can work them or work on them to get them used to it, then I haven't met anyone who hasn't enjoyed it and found that worth the time. But sometimes it takes a little nudge to get them moving in that direction.
Yeah, it can, and it's weird, that rift in the middle of the RPG industry. I find it so weird because it's just a big toolkit for designers to use. Is all it is. So, we're creating media and submedia and genres and subgenres and experimental stuff, And we're inventing new ways to interact with each other, technology, etc., all the time. So, of course, the toolkit's just going to get bigger and bigger. And for one half of the toolkit to go, no, we hate the other half of the toolkit, that's just stupid. I mean, DayTrippers is trying very much without just coming out and, putting the N word on, and I don't mean that N word. I mean narrative. It's trying very hard to deliberately step into that space in between the two and go, look, you guys, you can play together, all right? Because this game does have a strong GM who does prep if you play it that way. But it also allows a little bit of narrative control for the players, not too much, and it can be approached in a totally OSR way if that's the way your group wants to play. Give full responsibility to the GM, go for it. Or if you want to make up some stuff, the GM's going to let you. Go for it, right? So it's kind of like the gateway drug, I think.
I'm going to interrupt you all and say, I love you guys, I enjoyed this conversation. However, it's 2 in the morning, I want to go to bed.
Whoa, I did not know it's 2 in the morning where you are.
Yeah.
Lloyd's in England, so.
So I'm going to bed and have a conversation. I'll watch the rest of this conversation later.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thanks
playing.
for coming.
I enjoyed having
No
you.
sweat. Good times, guys. Let's do this again sometime.
All right, Lloyd,
Have a good
take it easy, my friend.
Good night.
Wow, yeah, I didn't know the time difference was so great.
Yep.
Yeah. Tesla's on the west coast of the U.S. I'm on the east coast, and Lloyd's in England, so.
I'm on the west coast of Canada, but close.
Yeah.
Canada, really? Yeah. That's cool. Isn't it cold up
I'm
there?
from Texas, but
So
no, I'm in
it's,
Canada.
it's 6:21 for you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not 6:21 for me. 9:21 for me, but that's okay. I only have to
Close
get up
enough.
at 4 a.m. my time to play in a game at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Oh, what are you playing?
What is it? Hero Quest Glorantha?
Oh,
I don't
haven't
know.
been in Glorantha for like 20 years.
I've never played anything in Glorantha. Somebody from France is running the game, so I'll play. So, well, cool. We can continue to BS, but I'm going to stop the actual on-air broadcast. So for our one viewer, we actually have a viewer been watching for a while. Yay! Hi, viewer.
Hello out there.
Hi,
We love
viewer.
you.
So I'm going to stop the broadcast, but he or she, whoever's listening, can chime in on my Google Plus account, whatever, or over on the blog. So, all right, cool.
Thank you for